Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
They got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case. Dahil mihiangay police verbal floppy.
Is that correct?
Literally not true. I didn't ask you to interrupt me. Oh, for crumb's sake.
All right, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Hope you had a fabulous lunch and are ready and waiting anxiously for part 2 of day 2 of the Dustin Duren trial up here in New Hampshire. Tell you one person who's ready and waiting. Oops, I made a mess of that. Hang on, let me fix that. Close, restore, pop out. There we go. There we go. Greeners, congratulations. First in chat. You know the drill. Are you going to give this away again, like last time? I don't think so. I think it's all you. Greeners, congratulations. We're sentencing you to internet ownership. Everything IP-related worldwide is your responsibility. Christy Gibson, working my way up to OG status. Love it here. Christy, thank you very much. I appreciate your support. It wouldn't be the same without you here. Glad you could be here with us today. All right, I look tired today. Am I okay? I'm feeling great. I am. I really am. I've got like a million things to do to get ready for Halloween. That's pressing on me just a little bit. But other than that, I'm doing well. And how are the Halloween decos coming? Not. The pumpkins are out. That's it. But the sheet is hung. The lion's eyes have been painted 4 times because it takes a lot of layers to really make the glow work, and it's starting to really come together. The tape, the crime scene tape is up. The chalk outline has been drawn on the sidewalk. I'm expecting the delivery of more glow-in-the-dark chalk today, as well as some fake blood, which obviously that'll be day of. Isn't it raining there? No. If it rains, I have to redo the chalk. That's no good. Don't say rain. I don't want rain for sure. Is it cool outside for STEM guy? We want him to be happy. Yes, it's cool. Although I imagine right around Halloween, as soon as it's over, he needs to be disposed of properly. He doesn't seem like he'll last much longer than that. What was I looking for? Oh, I was going to look at my Amazon to see if the chalk was arriving. Oh, it's arriving Friday. Great. Okay, it'll be here on Friday. 12 jumbo sticks of sidewalk chalk, which are ultraviolet activated, which super, super bright. All right, so now pray it doesn't rain. Yes. So excited to watch your Halloween stream. I figured it out. I bought a work light, just an LED work light that we're going to set up and sort of shine on us from behind. So it'll sort of give you the camera view of what's happening. I might have to put it on a tripod or something, but we've got that. That'll just help light everything, but it's not so bright that it will ruin the effect of the black light and everything else. So we'll have to figure the right spacing for that. All right, we are now straight up 1 o'clock, ready to go back to court. And as soon as they do come back, you'll hear it. We're live with the courtroom now. Let's see. My neighborhood sucks for Halloween. Yeah, I won the lottery or I lost, depending on which you prefer. Ours goes all out. I mean, we've got the big 12-foot skeletons in the kitty corner from us in the neighbor's yard. They're putting that up yesterday. You could always empty out a shelf in the fridge for STEM guy. No. You can't put, because then it will just rot in the fridge. Then you have to throw the fridge away. You're hooked now. Every year you will be competing with yourself to make it better. No. This is a one-off for sure. How many rooms of techno stuff do you think RA owns? 2. I have 2 rooms. I did hit the lottery. We're excited. We're excited to give out a lot of candy. So, is there any way to show trail of girl killed in Connecticut? I don't know which one that is. Summer Girl Mama. Amber, one time. This is the exception. All right, somebody's right in front of the camera, and I'm guessing it's a guy. I'm guessing he has short hair or no hair. How do I know, do you ask? It's just a hunch. Oriental Trader order just arrived with lots of little trinkets to hand out at trunk or treat. I looked at Oriental Trader. They have lots of cool stuff. It didn't fit with what I was doing exactly, so I didn't order from them this year. Adult Halloween night Friday at Lego Discovery Stores. Ooh, I wouldn't mind getting a couple of their goodie bags. Let's see. November 14th is the date. 3 people involved. Summer Girl Mama, what we would need to figure it out, we would need to know like the county, or if it's a state court, a district court, basically who's the judge, what's the trial, the names of the defendants, and then we could do some research to see. And Amber will be happy to do that. She's really good at that. All right. We're ready, Judge. If you want to pop back in, that would be great. Let's get started. Christy, oh, we didn't miss you. Christy, almost to OG status. Thank you very much. Welcome. Now we're back to live. All right. Didn't know Oriental Trader is still around. What about Temu? Temu is the new Oriental Trader. You can pretty much get all the same stuff at both of them. I can't tell you how many times I put about 400 bouncy balls in the shopping cart on Amazon and then didn't buy them. Glow-in-the-dark, little fancy eyeball ones and neon all UV. I thought the idea was just to have a big bin full of bouncy balls that the light would just they just pop. It would look like gems under black light. Didn't buy it. Maybe next year. No, there's not a next year. RA shops more than Mrs. RA. Just for this. Are we worried about kids choking on the bouncy balls? My only concern is that I'd be giving away food and toys at the same time, and kids do put things in their mouth. So if it was just toys, I'd feel okay with it, but if it's just candy, yeah. I see that. I didn't give away any toys this year. I also looked at the bigger bouncy balls, so they're not like choking size. Like they're too big to fit in your mouth size, but those are too expensive. Temporary tattoos are fun. Yes, all the ones I found that would really work with our crime scene idea came in sheets. And so you'd have like 8 tattoos on a sheet. And then it got really expensive to try to give each kid a sheet. Because although I'm all about the Halloween spirit of giving, I'm not that giving. Someone handed out Halloween ducks. That's why Kinder eggs are different here in Europe and Brazil. Yes, I think at one point they were illegal to import to the United States, like European Kinder eggs. All right. We are back. It is afternoon. We're hoping for a little bit of excitement, possibly interview tapes. Look at Temu rubber ducks. They have so many. Here's the problem. Every time I try to look at Temu, they're like, install this, spin the wheel, sign up here. And it's just trying to search Temu. You can't. And then you're halfway through a scam of like, you won 700 free items. Oh, there we go. Temu. 1,000 piece, 1 inch, or 1,000 piece, 2-inch rubber ducks. That's a lot of ducks. $1,000 ducks for $300. Whew. I just get mine at Duck Donuts. They're much more expensive. You only get one, but I don't know what I would do with 1,000 ducks.
The Honorable Jonathan S. Marcel presiding. Thank you for remaining standing for the Honorable jury.
Main standing. Jury's going to be coming in right now. Drop them in the pond and let the children go.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you. Please be seated.
Put them in a row.
Ready?
Your Honor, at this time, the state will be calling Dr. Natalie Robertson.
Doctor, this is definitely not the interview. She's on the civilian witness list, not an expert witness. At least not noticed as an expert.
Dr. Nat Robertson, if you could remain standing and just raise your right hand for me. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give today will be the truth under penalties of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. You may lower your hand and be seated.
No pains of perjury.
Dr. Robertson, before we get started, could you go ahead and please state your name for the record and spell your last name?
Natalie Robertson, Robertson.
You're a medical doctor, is that correct?
Correct.
Can you tell us about the education or the training that you have in order to become a doctor?
Yes. I have a Bachelor's of Science from Boston University. I have
and
my...
I interrupt you very quickly. Can you move that microphone a little bit closer? Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes.
Bachelor of Science from Boston University in Health Sciences, a medical doctorate from Drexel University, and I completed a residency in emergency medicine at Dartmouth-Hitchcock Medical Center.
Okay. And with respect to, or when did you graduate from Drexel with your MD?
2021.
Okay. And at what point did you complete your residency?
It was a 3-year residency, so 2024.
So 2024?
Yes.
And are you board certified?
I am.
And when did you receive your board certification?
I finished my last exam in March of this year. It took a couple months then. So.
Okay. And you currently are board certified in emergency medicine, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you indicated that you had or were a resident with Dartmouth-Hitchcock Medical Center, is that correct?
Correct.
Can you explain to us what a residency is?
Yes. Residency is the part of your medical training that you complete after you graduate medical school. So you have a medical doctorate, then you do residency in whatever specialty you are going to become a doctor in or specialize in. So mine was emergency medicine. That was a 3-year process at Dartmouth. There's some varying lengths. And during that time, you are licensed under a training or restricted license saying that you are practicing medicine within a residency program. You care for patients. There's a somewhat of graduated responsibility. So by the end of the residency program, you have more responsibility than the beginning.
Okay. And when you were serving as a resident at Dartmouth Hitchcock, from what I understand from your testimony, you were serving in the emergency department?
Correct.
Okay. And while you were serving as a resident with Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center, where were you based out of? Like what hospitals?
Our main hospital was at the main Dartmouth Hitchcock in Lebanon. We also did rotations at Cheshire Medical Center, at the Elliott Hospital in Manchester, as well as shock trauma in Baltimore.
Okay. And when you say we, in terms of Cheshire Medical Center, did you serve any portion of your residency at Cheshire Medical Center?
Yes, we complete 2 months at Cheshire Medical Center, 1 month during our second year of residency and 1 month during our third year of residency.
Okay. And I'd like to ask you, and my math skills are horrible, so let me go with your recollection. With respect to the residency that you were doing in March of 2024, were you stationed at Cheshire Medical Center?
Yes.
And would that have been your month in your third year of residency?
Yes, that was my third year.
Okay. Are you currently employed as a medical doctor?
I am currently on maternity leave, but I am employed as a medical doctor, yes.
Okay, and you're employed where?
At Lawrence General Hospital in Lawrence, Massachusetts.
Okay. So in March of 2024, you were a resident at the Cheshire Medical Center, and that's located where?
Keene, New Hampshire.
And at that time, you're working in the emergency department?
Correct.
Okay. So I want to direct your attention to March the 1st of 2024. Were you working on that day?
Yes, I was.
And I guess let me back up a little bit. The emergency department at Cheshire Hospital, can you talk to us a little bit about what that looks like?
It is a pretty standard, smaller community emergency department. There were generally 2 to 3 either physicians or APPs on at a time. It's a circular department, so there's patient care rooms around kind of a center area where there's supplies, as well as 2 areas for physicians and nurses.
And as a resident there
Thank you,
at
Amy.
Cheshire Medical
Appreciate
Center,
that.
what were the responsibilities that you had? You indicated you would be licensed under a conditional license. What kinds of things did you do as a resident at Cheshire Medical?
Yeah, so as a third-year resident at Cheshire, I would generally see patients, or I would see patients on my own, initiate...
Sorry, did you say you would or would not?
Would.
Okay.
Initiate their care and workup, and then at some point present them to an attending physician. Again, there's some caveat there. If someone came in who was very, very ill, often then an attending would walk in the room with me. But most of the time, as a resident at that point in your training, you are treating and seeing patients independently, and then at some point the attending signs off on your care.
Okay. I mean, you're just months shy of graduating the program, so you're
Correct.
Functioning pretty much on your own with backup from a resident, or not a resident, I apologize, an attending.
Attending, yeah.
Okay. So as a resident or as a doctor at Cheshire Medical Center, how would you normally be dressed? What would you look like?
They had hospital-issued scrubs at Cheshire, so we had navy blue scrubs. I wore my badge with my picture on it, usually a stethoscope, and then some papers in my pocket. I don't generally wear a white coat.
Now, in your capacity as, well, you've already indicated that you were able to see patients. Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay. Did that include patients who were pediatric patients, like children?
Yes.
Okay. Speaking generally, when you're seeing a patient, any patient in the emergency department, whether as a resident or now as a doctor, what kind of steps do you take when you treat and evaluate them?
It depends a bit on the condition of the patient when they arrive, but assuming that they are a stable patient who's talking to me, we walk in the room. Sometimes the nurse, or if they're brought in by EMS, someone will give me some information before I walk in the room about why they're there. Sometimes I don't have that information. I walk in, I ask them why they're there. I check their vital signs. I do an appropriate physical exam, and then initiate a workup, whether that's blood work or imaging or other things to make my diagnosis or to treat them.
What's the purpose of getting information from the nurses or the people accompanying the patient, as well as the patient, before you just launch into your physical exam?
I mean, those people generally have other helpful information, not always. If there's a 40-year-old who walks in and has a stomach pain, they can probably tell me everything about their stomach pain. If someone is coming in by ambulance, they can provide me, EMS can provide me with vital signs that were taken in transport, or if they did any interventions already. If they're picking someone up from an accident, they can tell me details of the accident. They just provide a more holistic story of why they're there.
And is all of that information that you would receive, whether from those sources like EMS or nurses or accompanying persons, as well as from the patient, including that child, are those all things that you take into account when you are evaluating and examining that patient?
Yes.
Now, when you're talking about information just in general, what are the kinds of pieces of information that you're trying to obtain about the patient in that initial evaluation stage?
You mean when I'm initially looking at a patient?
Yeah, when you walk in, you ask them what's going on. What kind of information are you trying to get, and how does that help you?
I'm trying to gather why they're there, why they're seeking care, and that directs me in what to examine and what tests to order. I'm trying to get information about their general health, their medical history, things like that, because again, that helps guide me towards what kind of workup they might need.
Okay, when you say workup, what kind of tests you might order, or what you might look for on your body?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in terms of, and have you, or let me back up, because there's multiple parts and I'm trying to ask it at one. While you were at Cheshire Medical Center, did you have occasion to treat pediatric patients like that 4-year-old you used as an example who had a stomachache? Yes,
yeah. I see pediatric patients everywhere.
And do you see pediatric patients in your role as a doctor now?
Yes.
Okay. Is the approach that you use in evaluating and treating a pediatric patient, so a child, the same as the approach that you use when you treat an adult?
It depends on the age of the child. Obviously, an 17-year-old is very close to an adult. A 3-year-old is not. But no, it has to be different depending on the age of the person.
Okay. So, when you treat a pediatric patient, and when you say pediatric, is it anybody under the age of 18?
Yeah, I think I'm not a pediatrician. Yeah. I believe pediatricians are certified to take care of people up to the age of like 22 or 23. I'm not sure. I generally, colloquially, pediatrics is under 18.
Okay, I just wanted to understand a range of what age we're talking about. So when you treat a patient who is a child, and I'm not talking about those 18-year-olds, but somebody younger, under the age of like, say, 7, around the age of like 5, say. That seems like a child, right?
Yeah.
Are there any extra steps or considerations that you have to make in conducting that examination or evaluation?
So in a kid that age, around the age of 5 or 5 and under, obviously a lot of information gathering is not only from the patient but from other people, because they are not always, aware of their health history or have a, complete understanding of things around them. Also, the examination and everything, when you're talking to a child, you have to use age-appropriate explanations of things. They're more likely to be very scared of the medical system, and so there's a lot more effort put into making them comfortable, and to gaining their trust is a little bit more difficult than with an adult.
Okay. No matter who you obtain that information from, the other people that you've talked about, whether it's caregivers or people with them, all of that information that you're gathering, are you using it in order to medically treat the child?
Yes.
Now, as part of your role in examinations, you get a history of the medical treatment for a person?
Yes.
And then do you obtain information about sort of the issue that has brought them to you?
Yes.
Okay. In terms of when you have a young child who's been brought to you and is being treated or evaluated in your emergency department, can you sort of walk us through what you would say and how you would handle talking to a young child in order to get the information you need to treat them?
Yeah. So someone who's around the age of 5, generally, again, I get some information about why a person is in the emergency department before I'm in their room. A nurse has evaluated them, or they have come in by EMS. Somebody has some information for me. Then I walk in the room and I introduce myself as Dr. Natalie. I explain to them that I am a doctor that works here. I am here to help them. I'm going to do a checkup like they receive at their regular doctor. I tell them I'm going to listen to their heart and their lungs and check their ears and their eyes and their nose. I usually make some joke about how I'm not going to give them shots like their regular doctor. And then around a 5-year-old can usually talk to me. And so I ask them, do you know why you're here, or what is bothering you? Some sort of open-ended question.
Okay. What's a wellness check?
A wellness check often means that a child is, that's not, I don't know if that's an official term, but I generally use that term, and many doctors do, as like a child is brought to the emergency department and they don't have a specific injury or complaint. They weren't at home having an asthma attack. They weren't in a car accident, but they are there for some reason where we are being asked to generally look at them and see if they are injured in some way.
Did you have a specific shift that you tended to work at Cheshire as a resident that last semester? Short month?
Yeah, at Cheshire, we did not work overnight, so we were either working a morning shift or an afternoon shift.
At some time on March the 1st of 2024, do you recall 2 young girls being brought into the emergency room of Cheshire Medical Center by ambulance and accompanied by police?
Yes.
Do you recall what purpose they were there for?
As I recall, they were brought in for essentially a wellness check to check for injuries.
Now, I want to focus specifically on the older of those 2 children. Mm-hmm. Did you physically examine a 4-year-old child named Ayden Duren?
Yes.
She is on the witness list. This child who's now 5.
I'm going to show you what I've marked for identification purposes. Mm-hmm. Make sure I have it the right way. As State's Exhibit 16 in this case. Mm-hmm. Do you recognize this image?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who that person is in the image?
Yes, the child you just mentioned, Ayden.
Okay, so that's the child, Ayden. Mm-hmm. Now, in this image, she's seated. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Can you describe where she is in relation to Cheshire Medical Center?
She is seated on a patient gurney. It looks like there's some blue kind of pads around it, which we sometimes use when children are seated so that they don't roll off of the gurney. And I can see in the corner, and do remember that she was in an enclosed room within the Cheshire Emergency Department.
What does that mean to be in an enclosed room?
In the emergency room, sometimes people are in hallway beds or different, trauma bays or things that just have curtains, and that is a room that has a door that closes.
Okay. Permission to publish to the jury, Ayden? I'm sorry, I skipped a step, I apologize. Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to strike the identification of State's Exhibit 16 and admit the item as full. No.
The ID may be stricken from Exhibit 16. It shall be considered a full exhibit, and you may publish to the jury.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Certainly.
When you were evaluating Ayden Duren, was she able to provide you with any of her medical history that you recall?
I don't recall specifically if she could tell me her medical history.
Did she have a health issue that day that she asked you for help with?
She did. On initial questioning, she did not, and then told me that she had an earache, or her ear hurt.
What do you mean she initially told you she did?
Like I said, when I generally ask kids open-ended questions, is anything bothering you? She did not have any complaints.
And how did it come to be that she told you that she had an earache?
I asked if anything hurt on her body, and she pointed to her ear.
Okay. When she pointed to her ear, do you remember if she told you anything about why her ear was hurting?
I believe I asked her, but I don't remember the exact quote. It's in my documentation.
Okay.
If I can see that.
Dr. Robertson, I'm approaching you with State's Exhibit 17, which is identified only, okay? Mm-hmm. I do have...
Whoa. I guess we need to get this up, because we're now up to 21 on the sidebar counters. Defense has to approach when we believe that they're showing the doctor her records to refresh her recollection about the wording of what she said and what the child said when questioned about having an earache. The The state is contending that the defendant shot a firearm one time, killing this 4-year-old child's mother while this child was in the defendant's arms, just feet at most away from the 9mm handgun when it was discharged. And that she immediately complained about her hearing as a result. So this doctor is telling us a little bit about that. If this could be laying the foundation for the child to come in as a witness. I've never seen a 5-year-old child testify in court before. Typically, we don't do that. I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but most of the courts we follow, not so much. Yeah, can you imagine how careful a lawyer has to be in that situation? Can you, okay, 5-year-old, can you stand right here and raise your hand to the square? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? What? 5 years old? The most you can get is, can you tell us what really happened? And they'll nod. And I'm sure it will be off camera as well. A lot of lengthy sidebars. We should probably be counting how much time they spend here, because it's in the 21 sidebars. I think we're probably close to 45 minutes total time we've spent. We've had 2 to 3, maybe even 4 or 5 minutes at a sidebar. So maybe even up to an hour. I'm not allowed to swear. Lawyers can't, only with specific training. I always say, do you know the difference between truth and a lie? Yeah. What's perjury? Yeah. Maybe this is as close as we'll get to have that testimony come in. It looks like sidebar's over, so we'll continue.
Marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 17. And with respect to this document, you've indicated that there are some records that may help you with your recollection of your evaluation and thereby treatment of Ayden Duren. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. You are free to look through this entire document, and I would ask you to go ahead and make sure that these are the records that are associated with her. And I have a tag just so that I can find something easily. You can disregard that or not. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 17?
Yes.
What is it?
This is her, it looks like, full ED record, including my physician note, but also nursing notes and consultant notes.
Okay. And when you say that you see your physician note, can you just tell us there's a page number at the bottom so that we all have it? What page number are you referencing has your physician notes?
It starts on page 22.
Oh, I'm going to ask you for a different number.
Oh, sorry.
Page 22 of the records in the bottom corner. We like to add more numbers.
Oh, 00.
Yes.
Okay, so 002598.
2598. Thank you. Now, you had indicated that you had asked Ayden about anything that was wrong with her, and at first she had said no. Is that fair to say?
I don't remember the exact way that I phrased the first question, but looking at my notes and with my recollection, I believe she did not initially have a complaint.
Okay. And when later, did you inquire as to whether she had any injuries?
Yes.
And is that the moment where she told you that her ear hurt?
Yes.
And which ear did she point to?
Pointed to her left ear.
Okay. Did you then ask her, and without telling me anything at this point, but did you then ask her? Oh, absolutely. If you can put them right on the side, if you can close the medical records, if you can put them right up on the table there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Did you then ask her how her ear got hurt or how it was injured?
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask you, in terms of examining, treating, and evaluating somebody, why is that important for you to know?
That's a lot of lead
So
up.
if a child tells me their ear hurts, I ask them more about why it hurts or if it was injured in any way. An ear hurt can mean that there's an infection. An ear hurt can mean there's an injury. A follow-up question to why an ear hurts is very important. Those are very different pathologies.
Okay. And so depending on the answer that you're provided with, you know whether you're essentially swabbing for an ear infection or looking for something deeper or more meaningful. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and again, without saying anything just yet, did Elwyn give you, and not telling us what she said, just trying to be very clear, did Elwyn explain to you how her ear was hurt?
When I asked what happened to her ear, how her ear was hurt,
Did she provide an answer?
She provided an answer, yes.
Okay. And based on her answer, did you have an understanding of what you needed to look for or do next?
Yes.
Okay. And based on her answer, were you able to determine a way that you were going to treat her medically or evaluate her medically?
I would say her answer in combination with a physical exam.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes.
Okay. Have we laid enough foundation? Can we ask this? We're up to 22. Defense is making them work for it. The defense is not giving them anything on this. It's interesting. The different courts handle hearsay a little differently. Some courts basically say if it's a statement that the witness said out of court, you can ask them about it, and they can tell you, if it's true or not, and you can cross-examine them on it. This court seems to be more strict along the lines of anything that is an out-of-court statement, meaning it wasn't said here in court under oath is hearsay, and then you have to fight to get past that. So this is a little tougher one to clear the hurdles on. She's not allowed to say what the child said, though, because that would be a hearsay statement. An out-of-court statement for the truth of the matter. Husband goes to a shooting ranch on the weekend, says even on the parking lot you need ear protection. There's more exceptions than not. There's so many. The toughest one I have is not for the truth of the matter, right? We're admitting this not because what it says is true, but for the effect it had on somebody else. That gets really complicated really fast. Statement is recorded in admitted record, but the record is only labeled for identification. Her medical record is not in evidence yet. I can't define hearsay, but I know it when I hear it. Yes. It's possible that at this point that the doctor could indicate that she began looking for signs of and formulating a plan to treat an ear injury consistent with a singular loud sound event in close proximity to the ear. You might get something like that, right? She can't say, she might not be able to say she was right next to the gun when it went off.
Dr. Robertson, when you inquired as to Elowen's injuries and asked her how she had gotten hurt or how her ear had become hurt, what did she tell you?
We get it in.
The exact quote is in my record. Am I able to?
What do you remember her telling you?
I remember her telling me that something along the lines of, Daddy hurt Mom and me. There was a lot of blood.
Did you follow that up by asking her if she was hurt anywhere else on her body?
Yes.
And did she indicate whether she was hurt anywhere else?
Again, my record, I believe, it says she gave me a vague answer of yes, but couldn't pinpoint anywhere else specifically that hurt.
Okay. And I see you hesitating a little bit. With looking at State's Exhibit 17, help refresh your recollection.
Yes.
Yeah, that was direct hearsay that was admitted probably by stipulation.
Yeah. So, yes, I asked her if anything else on her body hurt. She stated yes, but when asked to point where, she says, I don't know.
Now,
probably her heart.
Based on hearing that information, that the dad hurt her and Mom and there was blood, was there anything else that you had to consider besides her ear in terms of your examination or evaluation?
Yes.
We're back at sidebar. Defense is they're defending. I think what we're seeing here is more action from the defense than we'll see during the defense's case. I don't think we're going to hear much of anything from them during their case. It will be very brief, very short. Their whole effort is what can we prevent coming in, which means they might not have a case at all. With the statement that came in through that doctor, I think already the 5-year-old may be off the witness list and won't be needed much more if they can finish this line of questioning, and maybe even if the doctor could provide observations, which she's already alluded to, observations she's seen in the child specifically related to the ear injury. We could be done here really quick. He might have to testify because it's nearly self-defense. You know, self-defense and defense of others is it's like you assert that defense, right? That it is a defense to murder, that you were in defense of others, and then it's if once you've raised that challenge, then it becomes the state's burden to prove that it was not in defense of others. Sidebar number 23. I do feel bad for these witnesses who are being objected to constantly. Like, what did I do wrong? I mean, I'm literally telling you word for word what happened, and it's not allowed. She was reading in that case.
Now, I did want to ask you, you had indicated that when you said the statement that Elowen gave to you about why her ear was hurting, You had said, I think. Okay. I think you had said, I think that what she had told me.
Yes, I didn't
Was
have.
that, so in looking at these records, would those refresh your recollection as to the full statement that
Yes.
she gave? Okay.
Yes.
If you could go ahead and take a look. Just at the statement that she gave you, and when you had an opportunity to refresh your recollection, you can put that document aside.
Okay.
Did she, was the information that you gave us, which was that dad hurt me and mom, is that the full context of what Ellen had told you?
No.
Okay, what did she say?
Mom and dad were fighting, and dad.
Your Honor, okay.
Mom
Sustained.
and.
The document is now aside. Did that help refresh your recollection as to what Elowen told you?
Yes.
I know it's about a year and a half ago, so I understand. What did Elowen tell you?
Mom and dad were fighting. Dad hurt mom and me. There was a lot of blood.
Based on the fact that blood was mentioned, you had indicated just a minute ago that that made you have to look a little bit differently at Elowen. Is that fair to say? And that would be a bad way of phrasing it, so I apologize.
Yes, I mean, my job was to generally look for injuries on her. The fact
Now, based on the information that she gave you, what kind of an examination or how did you examine Elowen Duren?
So based on that information, her complaint of some sort of pain or problem with her ear, I did a more full ear exam, which just basically on a child was looking in their ear, moving around the ear. In general, how I examined her is she received a full exam. I checked her skin all over her body for signs of injury. I, did a neuro exam where I observed how she was communicating with me, how she was moving her extremities, checked her pupils, looked at her eyes, looked at her mouth, her nose, listened to her heart and lungs, felt her abdomen.
Okay, and in conducting that examination, is it fair to say that you didn't find any injuries on her body?
Correct.
Okay. And her neurological, like her talking to you and her movement of her limbs was fine?
Yes, her neuro
Without
exam.
any possibility that she had any head injuries as well, correct?
Yes, she had a normal neuro exam.
Now, with respect to the ear, when somebody comes in and complains of ear pain, did you have any information that you had received that you used for the purpose of medically diagnosing what may have been wrong with her ear?
Yes.
What information did you use to help figure out what her ear pain may have been caused by?
As in what I was told by pre-hospital people?
So before, when you say pre-hospital...
Sorry, police, EMS, fire.
Okay, so when Elowen came into the emergency department, she was accompanied by ambulance first, and then there were police officers with her, correct?
Correct. When I saw her, she was in a room already, so I don't know who exactly walked her into the emergency room.
Perfect. When you saw her and she was in the room, was she by herself or were there officers with her?
There were officers with her. I do not remember whether I asked them to step out or not. I do and don't. Sometimes it depends.
Perfect. Were you able to diagnose in any way what her ear pain was caused by?
I was able to deduce what I thought likely caused her ear pain.
Okay. And what, if anything, was your... And when I look at records, there's the words MDM, or the letters MDM in the medical records. What does that mean?
That's the medical decision-making portion of the physician note, which is basically where I discuss, what I think is going on with the patient. So if a patient has ear pain, that's where I sometimes explicitly list all the possibilities of what ear pain could be, or sometimes I just list the pertinent negative things, like it's, was not infected, was not this, and then come to some sort of conclusion.
Okay, so based on all of the information that you had from Elowen and from all of the other persons that you talked to when you were gathering the history and information you needed for your medical diagnosis, first of all, did you see anything when you conducted a physical exam of her ear?
No.
Okay, and you looked inside of it with that pointy thing with the light?
Yeah, the otoscope, yeah.
Thank you. So did you or were you able to make that diagnosis?
Yes, the diagnosis that I came to is one that there's not a test that proves it. Okay. So.
And what did you indicate was your diagnosis with respect to Elowen's ear pain?
I think that she had injury to her ear due to loud noises, being in close proximity to a loud noise.
Court's indulgence. I have no other questions for this witness. I'm just going to collect the exhibit and give it to the mother. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Just a couple questions. Based on your physical examination of Elowen and what information you had from her and other sources, you determined that the ear pain that she was complaining of was most likely due to secondary lateral noises, correct?
Correct.
And there was no evidence of perforated eardrum, correct?
Correct.
No trauma to the ear.
No physical trauma to the ear. Correct.
No outward signs of trauma, correct?
Correct.
And she appeared well kept and well nourished.
She was, yes.
No more questions, thank you.
No questions.
Okay, can Dr. Robertson be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
For all the fighting they did to object to keep things in, they didn't have many questions for her. To keep things out, I should say. No outward trauma, no physical signs of any injury, including to the ear.
Nicholas Post.
Nicholas Post, next witness up on deck. It's Trooper Nicholas Post from the New Hampshire State Police.
So could you please raise your right hand? You swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth under the pain and penalty of perjury?
I swear.
Thank you. Please take a seat. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury and tell them your name and spell your last name?
I am Nicholas Post. Last name is P-O-S-T. I am a trooper with the New Hampshire State Police Major Crime Unit.
Trooper, how long have you been with the state police?
Just over 12 years.
I apologize, Your Honor. I thought there was a technical issue.
So, apologize, Trooper. You've been with the New Hampshire State Police for 12 years?
Yes.
And you're currently assigned to the Major Crime Unit?
Yes.
How long have you been with the Major Crime Unit?
It'll be 3 years in December.
Trooper, do you have any experience processing crime scenes?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us what it means to process a crime scene?
Crime scene is preserving and documenting the scene as best as found it and preserving evidence for later prosecution.
Specifically, do you have any experience documenting vehicles as part of your investigation?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do the same principles apply when you are documenting a vehicle?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Trooper, were you part of the investigation into the investigation of the death of Caitlin Nafziger in Berlin, New Hampshire?
Yes, I was.
On March 2nd of 2024, did you participate in a search of a vehicle?
Yes, I did.
What kind of vehicle was that?
It was a 2017 white Subaru Impreza.
Do you remember what the license plate was?
I do not. I know it was a New Hampshire veterans plate.
Okay. Where did you search that vehicle?
At our Major Crime Belmont facility.
And that was on March 2nd of 2024?
Yes, it was.
How did you document your search of that vehicle?
We took photographs, notes, and seized any evidence that was illustrated in the search warrant we obtained for the vehicle.
So the search was conducted pursuant to a warrant?
Yes.
When that car came to you, or when you first observed the car, did it have any seals on the doors?
Yes, it did.
Okay, and can you describe those seals?
They are green evidence tamper seals that would, if the door was opened, it would be evident that the seal would be broken.
And so those seals were not broken?
They were not broken.
Trooper, how many people were present during that search of the vehicle?
I believe 3, including myself.
And when you searched that white Subaru Impreza, did you photograph the contents of the vehicle?
Yes, it was photographed by TFC Amanda Johnson.
When you were present, you observed the vehicle as it was photographed?
Yes, I did.
Were the contents of the vehicle photographed as they were found in place?
Yes, they were.
Were those items then removed and photographed again?
Yes.
When they were photographed again, where were they photographed?
They were photographed on the floor on top of a piece of white butcher paper.
Why was it done that way?
So they can be spread out. There's nothing blocking or concealing any kind of item.
Trooper, I'm handing you a number of photographs here. These are marked for ID as states 19A through J and 23A through N. Can you please look at those?
Yes.
Trooper, have you had a chance to look at all of this?
Yes, I have.
What are those photos?
These are photos of the white Subaru Impreza that I processed on March 2nd.
And do these photos show the interior of that vehicle as it was found?
Yes, they do.
And also the contents of that vehicle after they were removed?
Yes.
At this point, the state moves to introduce its full exhibits, states 19A through J inclusive, and 23A through N as in Nancy.
Yep.
$24. That's 2 dozen, most of them coming today. It's a lot of pictures, a lot of big pictures they print out in like that 11 by 18. I wonder what they could be fighting about here in the car. Are pictures duplicative? They're, doubling up, getting for the extra value. Are we showing something that shouldn't be shown? Is there some evidence in the car of some other crime that should not be visible to the jury because that would make it prejudice? Do wonder what's happening here. We're at 35 Amber Alerts. Wow. They have to lead the witnesses here because they aren't allowed to say anything on their own. Tracy, this is the most true statement we've heard all day. Lots of leading. Lots of leading. Poop stains, messy car, yes. Don't want to show poop on the car seat. We've already heard it. We've already heard that it was dirty. We heard that from the police officer. I think the jury is smart enough to read through the lines about what the defense are doing regarding keeping things out. I don't think it helps defendant for jury to be making their own assumptions. He admitted it. Yeah, I'm thinking they just didn't take the time for any pretrial motions. I know there were a handful of them in the docket. Stephanie, you and me both. I had 6 kids. I've shared a story about the blowout on the trip to Idaho. Oh my goodness. How's it going? Why is this even on trial? Shouldn't he have gotten a plea deal for a lighter sentence? Well, he's saying that it was justified. I don't think the state wants to give him a plea deal. They think it was not.
Your son just smeared feces all over my bathroom.
Sorry, that was a sound effect from the Mark Jennings trial. Not from this court. I keep that one. I delete other ones, but I keep that one handy. Counsel's showing the other side the pictures. There's some discussion. The clock is ticking ominously. Yeah, it was Jensen, Mark Jensen, not Jennings. You're right. Jennings was the Jeopardy guy, right? Mr. Jennings. Now audio muted just so we don't overhear what the attorney is talking about, the counsel. I should do audiobooks. What type of book should I read? There's a way to change it, Grit Grinder, if it's still available. Watch chat. The mods will share it with you. And 24 turns in straight to 25 without any talking in between. 2 sidebars with only a silent break.
Attorney Spicer, you've requested.
The state moves to introduce exhibits 19A through J and 23A through N as the Nancy as full exhibits.
Okay, any objection?
No objection.
Okay, the ID may be stricken with respect to exhibits 19A through J inclusive and with respect to 23A through N inclusive, and they shall be considered as full exhibits.
True proposed, you have a screen there. I think we can safely do this without having to get up. I'm showing you states 19A. What is this?
This is the 2017 white Subaru Impreza.
Okay, and what does the license plate say?
It says V as in Victor 69023. It's a New Hampshire veterans plate.
This is the vehicle you searched as part of that investigation?
Yes, it is.
On March 2nd, 2024? Do you see the green pieces of tape over the doors?
Yes, I do.
Is that the tamper seal tape that you talked about earlier?
Yes, they are.
Trooper, I'm showing you states 23A. What does this show?
This shows the front passenger side area of the vehicle.
Is this as it was when you found it?
Yes, yes, it is.
And what items do you see there?
See a pillow, fruit cups, a blanket.
And now showing you states 23B. What is this?
This is the contents of the front passenger side area.
Okay, so have these contents been removed for photographs?
Yes.
Is it that same pillow and blanket that you saw in the front seat?
Yes, it is.
This is states 23C. What are these?
These are the remaining items from that front passenger's area.
Can you tell the jury what those are?
Is fruit cups, pajama pants, a diary, paper towels, a water bottle, and cleaning wipes.
Are those pajama pants for an adult or a child?
For an adult.
Showing you states 19B. What do you see here?
This is the rear passenger's area behind the driver.
And what do you see here?
See a car seat, some food, water on the floor, a bottle inside the car seat, and what appears to be a pink jacket.
This is states 19C. What is this?
This is a view of the same area looking towards it's from the rear driver's side passenger area looking towards the right of the vehicle.
What do you see on the far side of that car?
See a pillow. It looks like some kind of item that could store, that's hanging from the seat that could store things.
This is states 23D. What is here?
There's water, pink jacket, and crackers, and the off the camera to the left is the car seat.
And where did these come from?
These came from the rear passenger driver's side area.
And that black item there, is that the item you were referring to earlier?
That's the item that was attached to the back of the driver's seat.
States 23E. What are these items?
This is fruit snacks, crackers, water, a booster seat, and men's underwear.
And Slim Jims.
On the left of this image, is
Not
that
a sponsor.
same black item?
Yes.
So did these items come from the same part of the car?
Yes.
States 23F. What are we looking at here?
This is the rear area of the car looking from the passenger side, so the right of the vehicle, towards the driver's side.
Again, this is how you found it, correct?
Yes, it is.
Before anything was removed? Is it before anything was removed?
Correct, yes.
This is states 23G. What items are we looking at here?
It's children's clothing, diapers, baby wipes. Appears to be a child's applesauce, a jug of water, and a small blanket.
This states 23H. Can we see some of those same items you just described?
Yes.
And then there's additional items. What are those?
Yes, it's additional clothing. The black electronic, I believe, is some kind of computer device. I'm not sure.
How about the clothing? Are those clothes for children or for adults?
For children.
States 23I. What are we looking at here?
This is clothes for children and for an adult.
So is there a shirt there?
Is there a shirt there? Yes.
Is that a dark green shirt?
Yes, that's an adult size shirt.
And some underwear as well?
Yes.
Adult underwear?
Yes.
And then there's a penguin shirt. Is that for a kid?
Yes.
What are we looking at here, sir? This is 23J.
This is a pillow, 2 jackets, and a mirror for the driver to be able to check on the child in the back seat.
Those jackets, are those for an adult or a child?
For a child.
And there's some sort of plaid item there. What is that?
That appears to be the gray plaid jacket or sweatshirt is what it appears to be.
For an adult or a child?
Child.
This states 23K. What is in this photo?
The 2 articles of clothing in the middle are shirts for an adult.
How about that pink item on the top right?
Be a hat for a small child.
And then to the left, we can see part of an item. Do you know what that is?
It appears to be a stuffed animal.
here?
This would be adult clothing.
This is 23L. Is there an adult shirt there?
Yes.
As well as some adult-sized blue jeans?
Yes.
This states 23M. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
This would be adult shirts, socks, underwear.
So how many shirts do you see?
See 3, and then there's a black item of clothing that's partially shown.
How many pairs of underwear?
1.
And how many socks?
5 total.
This states 23N as in Nancy. What are we looking at here?
Be children's clothing on the left. It appears to be an adult shirt on the right and an adult underwear.
So there's several pieces of children's clothing here. Can you describe them for us?
What appears to be penguin pajamas on the left, the red sweatshirt with stars, the blue long sleeve shirt up top, and the pink shirt in the middle right would be children's clothing.
Trooper, what are we looking at here?
This is the trunk of the white Subaru Impreza.
There's the computer.
It had a computer tower and vehicle equipment like jumper cables and car care materials.
When you say a computer tower, do you mean like a desktop computer?
Yes.
Trooper, what are we looking at here?
This is the driver's door.
Any items of interest in that door?
There's a firearm in the driver's door pocket.
Is this how that firearm was found?
Yes.
So this is where that firearm was when the police opened the door?
Yes.
What is this?
This is a Beretta 9mm pistol.
Is this the same firearm that we just saw?
Yes.
Just a closer view? Is this just a closer view?
Yes.
And where is that firearm pointing right now?
The muzzle would be pointing to the left as you look at this picture.
Just for the record, that one states 19E, and the previous one was 19D. I'm now showing you states 19J. Trooper, what is this?
This is a Beretta 9mm pistol.
Is this the pistol that was found in the door of the car?
Yes, it is.
So it's been removed now for more photographs on that paper?
Yes.
Is this the condition of the gun as it was found?
Yes, it is.
Does the magazine appear to be loaded into the gun?
Yes.
Trooper, is this the same gun? This is states 19F?
Yes.
So this is the same gun. Obviously, it looks a little bit different. Can you tell us why?
The magazine was removed from the magazine well. The slide was locked to the rear, and a cartridge was ejected out of the chamber.
So first, I want to ask you about that long black object on the right. What is that?
That is the magazine.
And so what is a magazine?
The magazine holds the ammunition for the firearm.
There's something gold and metallic poking out from the top of that magazine. Can you tell us what that is?
Those are the 9mm cartridges for the firearm.
So when you say cartridge, do you mean colloquially a bullet?
Yes.
Ammunition?
Yes.
So again, this is a photo of the gun with the magazine removed. The police did that, correct?
Yes.
And the gun has been obviously manipulated. Could you tell us what was done to the gun?
The slide on the firearm was locked to the rear.
What's the slide?
The slide is that top portion that encases the barrel.
So that's been pulled back.
Yes.
What is the point of pulling that slide back?
To eject any cartridge that could be inside the chamber of the firearm.
Was a cartridge ejected from the chamber of the firearm?
Yes.
And is that gold item that's to the left of the gun?
Yes, it is.
So when this gun was removed from that door by the state police, there was a bullet in the chamber?
Yes.
Okay. And so when the slide is pulled back like that, does that make this gun safe?
Yes, it cannot be fired in the condition it's in currently.
Trooper, there's an object there with some letters underneath. Can you tell us what we're looking at?
This is a 9mm cartridge that was ejected from the chamber of the firearm.
So this is the bullet that was in the chamber of the gun?
Yes, it is.
And those letters, what do those indicate?
That is the exhibit number. The A after the 2 would indicate it's a sub-exhibit from
Okay, so who
the
labeled
firearm
this?
itself,
Was it like
indicating that it was
the
found within
1-year-old
the firearm.
wrote the label
This is
here?
States 19G. I'm going to go back to States 19F. What is the exhibit number for the gun?
KPP2.
So the gun is KPP2. Looking again at 19G, the bullet in the chamber is KPP2A.
Yes.
Trooper, what are we looking at here?
This is the magazine that was inserted into the magazine well of KPP2.
And what are those items above the magazine?
That is the ammunition that was inside the magazine.
So when this gun was found, all those items of ammunition were inside the magazine?
Yes.
Can you tell us how many there are?
Appears 13.
And that 13 is in addition to the one that was in the chamber?
Correct.
And so does that KPP2B refer collectively to those rounds and the magazine?
Yes.
Trooper, I'm showing you, it's marked for ID, this states 20A. Please open this box. For the record, you can use those boxes. Trooper, we'll have you get down and show this in a second, but what do you see in this box?
I see the firearm that was found in the driver's door pocket of the white Subaru.
Is there a marking on this box?
Yes.
And is there an evidence number?
Yes.
What number is that?
KPP2.
Is that the same KPP2 that we saw in the photograph for that gun?
Yes, it is.
A couple of other items in here, is that correct?
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you about those at the moment. Can you please step down and I'll ask you to show this to the jury? All right, before I do that, Your Honor, at this point, the state moves to strike the ID on 20A, introducing the full exhibit.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection. Okay, the identification may be stricken with respect to Exhibit 20A, and it shall be considered a full exhibit.
I'll ask you to just show this to the jury so they can see it. Trooper, there are some zip ties in that box attached to that gun. What is the purpose of those?
It's to secure it inside the box so it doesn't move around. Any trace evidence could fall off it or be destroyed.
Can the gun fire as it is right now?
No, it cannot.
Thank you. Thanks. You can just put that on the table there. Trooper, I'm handing you two more items, states 20B and 20C for ID. First, I'll ask you about 20B. What is this?
This appears to be 20A. This would have been the cartridge that was found inside the chamber of the firearm KPP-2.
So just for the record, this is states 20B for ID. What evidence number is there on that?
KPP-2A.
Okay. KPP-2A, that's the live round that was found in the chamber.
Yes.
Can you please open that?
Red Pen, thank you very much for gifting 5 memberships. DSN gifted a membership as well. Thank you all. We were hoping, the camera was hoping to get a peek of the evidence, but the box was strategically handled the entire time. We did not get to see it.
Is this the same live round that was removed from the gun that we just saw?
Yes.
When you searched it on March 2nd?
Yes.
These are full metal jacket, 9mm.
20B is a full exhibit?
The identification may be stricken with respect to 20B and it shall be considered a full exhibit.
Yeah, we'll put that down for now, just somewhere it's not going to roll away. And now, Trooper, I'll ask you about space 20C for ID. Does this have an evidence number on it?
Yes, it does.
What's the evidence number?
KPP-2B.
And that's the evidence number for the magazine and the ammunition found in it?
Yes.
For that gun that was in the car?
Yes.
On March 2nd?
Yes.
Did he just strip one layer of gloves off? You have 2 layers on? Amateur completes the cut. Have to cut the tape. Good on the ASMR though.
The rounds are stuck to tape.
Just rip the bag up. There you go.
So you've removed 2 items from that evidence bag. What are they?
This is the magazine that was located in the magazine well of KPP-2 in the cartridges that were inside the magazine.
And those
There's the watch on the right hand. That's interesting.
Yes.
Okay. Are those the cartridges that were removed from this magazine?
Yes.
At this time, the state moves to strike the ID on 20C.
Amelia Julia, thank you very much for
The
your
identification may
gifted
be stricken with
membership.
respect to Exhibit 20C and it shall be considered a full exhibit.
And so, Trooper, I'll have you...
Jennifer
carry all 3 of
Cockfield,
those
what's
things.
happening?
You could bring them down and show them to the jury.
Well, he makes the trip over to show them the various bullets and the magazine. Thank you for all the gifted memberships. Your generosity is awesome. Supports the channel and helps welcome somebody else in as a new member. That is really cool. Did I miss something? Is it a GPS watch, a Garmin watch? No, it's on the right hand though. I just noticed that. I wear mine on my left arm, but I'm not sure if that indicates a preference for riding or anything. Puts the one bullet back. Whoa. To the next person who gifts 5 memberships, I'll double, says Josh.
Sure, if you could put those back into those bags, that would be great.
I Rescue Dogs gifted a membership. Shannon, 1. It is raining memberships right now.
Trooper, after you recovered those items as part of your search, where did they go?
They went into the bags in front of me today. They were sealed and ultimately brought to the New Hampshire State Police Forensic Laboratory.
Red Pen and Ricky C, thank you both for gifting 5 memberships. It is raining memberships right now.
I have no more questions.
Yep.
Defense asks to approach. Whoa! Woody Cincy just gifted 50. 50 memberships. Josh gifted another 10. Holy smokes. Make sure your gift setting is turned on. It's going to be raining memberships for a little while. This is crazy. Woody. Whoa, everybody. It's about time for a new t-shirt. Did I see I gifted a membership also? Bite me, let's see. I can't see everything on the screen at the same time. Hang on. There it is. Bite me. Thank you very much. Meanie Banana, Dan or DSN, Red Pen, Unrulia Julia, Jennifer Cockfield, I Rescue Dogs, Red Pen again, Ricky C, Woody Cincy. Holy smokes. Josh, thank you as well. Kells Bells. I think we're running out of non-members. Holy smokes. They're still being granted. They're still, and you get a membership, and you get a membership, and you get a membership. Woody's are still being granted. Now we're on to Josh's 10 here. Holy smokes. That is crazy.
Of this witness, we will take the mid-afternoon break right now. So again, mid-afternoon break right now. We'll resume at 2:30. And again, please do not discuss the case or the evidence amongst yourselves. Thank you very much.
All rise.
Devin Daughtry, thank you very much. 5 more gifted memberships. You guys are amazing. It's raining memberships. I don't know how else to describe it. Kim R gifted 5. You know we have to play a song when this happens. We have to play a song. And there's only one song to be played. Good thing it lines up with the break here. Holy smokes. Kim, thank you very much. Peter Tupperware, thank you as well. Public. Let's see, can you hear this? Is there any audio there? Here we go.
In the land of pixels, here we meet. Gray's the color of our simple seats. No flashy lights.
Thank you, Rebecca.
No fancy scheme. It's low-key love in a cyber dream. Slow-mo to life, we're taking it easy. Calm in the chat, everything looks breezy. No golden throne, no crown on screen. Yet still I feel like royalty unseen. Gray is the new green, don't you know? In the digital glow, we take it slow. No need for emojis or special code. We're riding high on this mellow road. Gifted green lights up the scene. A ticket to a world unseen. But here in gray, we find our creed. No extra flair, just what we need. No temp seats, no quick retreats, just hanging out in these cyber streets. Gray dust clouds, our silent beam, a hidden treasure in the live stream. Gray is the new green.
Wow. Gray is the new green, don't you know? Thank you. I don't know. I still don't know what caused that to happen. I was on the phone with Ayden, and we were laughing and joking, and I came back, and gifted membership started just exploding. Thank you for whoever started that huge, generous push with members. That's really cool. Thank you to the 103 new members that we now have. Holy smokes. Oh, it's not done, apparently. 104. Hilda B, gifted membership. Thank you very much. That's 109. Flash, Josh, thank you very much. Katie Bug, welcome to the gallery. Thank you. You guys are all amazing. Gray or green, it did definitely get my attention. I was talking to Ayden. I put it on the screen. I'm just going to take his call. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for all those who hit the like button as well. It helps the channel. Amazingly, we already have 512 likes on this live stream today. We'd like to get to about 1,000 by the end of the day. We've got a little bit of time. We're halfway through, so right on pace. Thank you, Red Panda, for starting the membership train. Thank you, Red. Red's amazing. Amazing moderator. Wow. So glad to have her on the team. All right. I'm still a G. Yes, you still are, Tinez. Welcome. I'm back. We were trying to get you off the phone. It worked. All right. Love it. I told you, I started sharing this the other day. I figured out my family hates Suno, right? They hate the Suno songs. Hilda B, thank you very much for additional gifted membership. Make an even 110, and then it went uneven with this one. But Tracy, congratulations. They're not big fans of the songwriting. They tolerate it. I figured out how to take the songs that I have written, like stuff that I wrote years ago with the guitar and my voice and my lyrics and everything, without the help of any computer or even a thesaurus, and make Suno sing them the way I want to, like with a better voice than my own. They just don't think it's authentic. It's not me coming up with the words. And so I've started putting some of the songs that I have composed myself and wrote myself and sat down with a guitar and plunked out a tune and figured out and everything. And up to 111 right now. 111. I think I misspoke. 111. I'll have to share some with you. So it's not quite perfect yet. Like the timing isn't right the way I want it. Thanks for whoever gifted me. Susan, I wish I could tell you who it was. It could be one of a number of people. And I'm not going to say their names. I'm just going to tell you that there were a lot of people that it could possibly be. And this is just a few of them. Yeah, just a couple. And many more as well. So should be a notification you get with the name of the gifter. There should be. It should work. I like how you slid the R in there, cauliflower. That's funny. Janice Tall, welcome to the gallery. Thank you very much. Let's talk t-shirts. I'm not very good. Here's what I'm doing. I'm still trying to figure out how to fix the merch issue we had before. We're still in the middle of that with Teespring because they're just too slow on delivery. Thank you, Tex. They're too slow on delivery, so we're looking for other options that have to be able to interface with YouTube. Let me before everyone tells me all the different companies that can do this. It has to be entirely self-contained, print on demand. So website, ordering, shipping, confirmations, and YouTube integration has to work. So there's that. How come there's no hype button on this channel? I don't know. They told me I was getting it, and I have not got it yet. I have not said anything about it, waiting for it to happen until right now, Sarcy Chick. I don't know why there's not a hype button on this channel. I've asked, but I know it's being rolled out slowly. It's probably has to do with why some names are proper and some are not. But what is the hype button? The hype button is a way, consider it like a power share. Like, hey, this channel's really awesome. You should check it out. Power share. It's like injects a boost of extra algorithm into the live stream, and it's something that YouTube came up with a way that you can hype a channel. Runkle uses Zazzle. Is he happy with it? Are you happy with Zazzle if you order from Runkle? Hype was all hype. It was designed that way. Zazzle is okay. Might check Zazzle. I started to run into problems with Teespring with availability of products first. And so lots of things like some of our pet equipment, like the sweaters for dogs and things like that, that they would run out, and the keychains and things. And now they're really slow. Redbubble's also very good. Let me write these down. I want to check them out. I want magnets. I spent all my hype on Mr. Beast. He needed it more. Greener's good move. Good move. Thank you for that. I like this Northwest. That's important for our audience. Zazzle can print in multiple countries based on shipping location. What that does is not only make availability there, it also lowers the price of shipping, which can be cost prohibitive. Just had to tell everyone I got a grand jury summons in the mail today. Jackie Ann Coulter, let me just tell you, generally speaking, be aware that only one side is going to present evidence. You're only going to hear one side. The defendant won't get to tell their story at all. Make them do their work. You know, they have a job to do. Make them do it. Don't give away a true bill cheaply. We should sell stubby pencils. How do we do that? Stubby pencils, like too short to sharpen stubby pencils. That would be great. Somebody help me find a source for those, other than my junk drawer in my kitchen. You can hype the Lowe's video? Oh, is it because it's vertical? Just called for grand jury, didn't make the final cut, was disappointed, but it was a month before the pandemic, so I guess it didn't matter. Oh, you can't hype a live. It can be done once it's a VOD, video on demand. Not enough. Welcome. Thanks for clicking the subscribe button. Okay, we're about to get jurors back in those seats. Those are not the most uncomfortable juror seats I've ever seen, but they don't rank really high in my book. It's just a step above the bench. True bills only cost probable cause. Don't give out your true bill cheaply. cow. Okay, I've got some amazing Halloween pictures. Golf-sized pencils. Maybe we need a shirt. I think a stubby pencil shirt might be a good one. A shirt that just says, I've got a stubby little pencil. It's only going to come in men's. Just, I'm sorry. All right.
Thank you.
There's one of the best shots of the defendant we've had thus far, with him turned facing us almost.
I hope so.
He's got a little bit of the ducktail hairstyle going on, comb forward. As do I think, if I look at it.
All rise for the honorable jury.
Alexis MC220 just gifted 5 more memberships. Thank you very much. And possibly 5 before that as well. Yep, Alexis, thank you. That's 10. It's 10 back to back.
Wabash County Superior Court again is in session with the Honorable Jonathan H. Purcell presiding.
Thank you. Please be seated.
That bailiff sounds so much like Eeyore.
And Trooper, you're still under oath, sir.
I'm sorry.
And you're still under oath.
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Trooper. How familiar are you with the Beretta 9mm pistol?
I'm not very familiar, no.
Oh, okay, so that's not what you, that's not your service weapon?
No.
Okay. Are you aware of its safety features based on your handling of
In the
this case?
photos, yes.
Okay. Why don't I have you then step down to get closer to the jury with Exhibit 19.
I can't think of a police force like the outside of the military that's used the Beretta 92 or Beretta M9. It's a service weapon.
Holding it.
They're just too heavy.
Is
and it has a manual
the
safety.
little lever that we see here, is that the safety?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And right now the safety is pointed down, which means it's on, correct?
Correct. Usually there would be a red dot showing when the safety is off.
Okay. And so to turn the safety off, you would push that lever up?
Yes.
And a red dot would show?
Yes.
Okay. And when the gun was found in the driver's side pocket, the safety was on, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Also, that picture, again, 19, this is a picture of the pistol with the magazine inserted?
Yes.
Okay. And 19F is a picture of the pistol.
Can we just correct the record?
Yes.
The photo with the magazine inserted is 19J.
Thank you. 19J is photo of
Prosecution objects to their own statement. Or I guess that's defense.
19F is the photo with the 9mm pistol with the magazine not inserted.
Yes.
Okay. Now in 19F, here, I'll switch it. The slide is pulled back.
Yes.
Okay. And that someone manipulated that after taking it to evidence.
Yes. When it was seized from the vehicle, it was manipulated.
And was it when it was seized from the vehicle and manipulated? Was that to check if it was loaded?
Yes, to render it safe. Yes.
Render it safe. Okay. And you pull the slide back, and there's some sort of lever that pops up, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, what would you call that?
That would be the slide locking lever.
The slide locking lever. Okay. And that would be another safety mechanism, correct?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that in our picture 19J, the magazine is inserted, the safety is on. In order to fire it, you have to put the safety up and pull the trigger, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And so it will not fire any projectile unless those two things happen when it's loaded.
Correct.
Okay. And just to go from step one with this pistol, in order for it to function properly and fire a projectile, it first has to be loaded, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so either you can pull back the slide, put one bullet in, return the slide forward, then rack it, then pull the trigger, right?
No, if you put
If you racked it, it would eject it.
And sent the slide forward, the round would be in the chamber and it'd be
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Okay.
She doesn't know guns.
And if you are using a magazine, and this magazine has 15 total projectiles, cartridges, bullets, right?
It has a 15 capacity.
15 capacity.
13.
Yes.
Yes.
When it started, it had 15 capacity, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So if someone inserted the full 15 bullet capacity magazine into this pistol, they would have to slide the rack back, correct?
Correct.
Rack the
If
slide.
it wasn't back already.
If it wasn't back already. Okay. Turn the safety up or off, correct? For the
Correct,
record,
yes.
right? Okay. And pull the trigger.
Yes.
Okay.
They're holding the gun up so the jury can see.
And because of the magazine in this pistol, and it's a semi-automatic pistol, the next bullet from the magazine would automatically cycle up to the chamber, correct?
Correct, yes.
So if it was functioning correctly in this scenario with the 15 capacity magazine, and it was started out with a full magazine, after firing one bullet, you would anticipate there would be a second bullet in the chamber, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And you could not fire it unless the safety was turned off and you pulled the trigger.
Yes.
Okay. And you found it in the vehicle, driver's side pocket door, with the safety engaged. It was on, correct?
Correct.
So it would not have fired a bullet as is.
Correct.
A lot of times that's called 15 plus 1.
I got to check if I have questions.
I feel very close to the witness suddenly.
I have no more questions. Thank you, Trooper.
Redirect?
Wait. Don't leave.
Briefly, Your Honor. Trooper Post, you mentioned that the safety was on, and you talked about pulling the slide back. Fair to say that there are a number of steps that need to be taken before a bullet can be fired from a gun like this?
Yes.
So that the purpose of those, would that be that the gun doesn't go off accidentally?
Correct.
So that when the gun fires, it's because the person wanted to fire it?
Yes.
No more questions.
Nothing further.
His tie bar is almost at his chin.
Okay, can Trooper Post be excused?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And to use off. Yes, please. Should see his name.
They're looking at the TV. Let's see what we get to next.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would call Jill Terrio.
Jill Terry. Take a look at the schedule.
Please remain standing and raise your right hand.
Theriault. She's an expert
Ms.
witness.
Terrio, do you
Forensics.
swear that the testimony that you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You may lower your head and have a seat.
State Police Forensic Laboratory in New Hampshire.
There's
Jill
some water I leave
Theriault.
up there and some cups perhaps if you would like to take some and be ready for that, or whenever you need to. If you do need to take a break at any time, just let me know.
There will be a water
Thank
fight
you.
later on.
You
Stock
just
up
did
now.
it, so I don't even have to tell you. The microphone a little bit closer. So if I could have you just go ahead and introduce yourself to these jurors by stating your name, spelling your last name for the record.
Yes, my name is Jill Terrio. Last name is spelled T as in Tom, Herrriault.
Ms. Terrio, where do you work?
I'm currently employed by the New Hampshire State Police Forensic Laboratory in Concord.
And what is the New Hampshire State Police Forensic Laboratory?
The forensic lab that's associated with the state police is the only forensic laboratory within the state that handles examining evidence from all the municipalities and jurisdictions within New Hampshire.
For about how long have you worked with the New Hampshire State Police Forensic Laboratory?
It'll be 6 years this December.
Is it okay if I call it the laboratory or the forensic lab?
That's fine, yes.
Perfect. Now, are you assigned inside of the lab to a specific unit?
Yes, I am.
And what's that unit?
In the laboratory, I'm assigned to the pattern evidence unit.
And inside it, before I ask you what your job assignment is inside of that unit, what is the pattern evidence unit?
The pattern evidence unit of the forensic laboratory is composed of forensic science examiners who look at items that have patterns. So that would be the latent print examiners, that would be myself as a firearms examiner, as well as examiners who look at shoe and tire track impressions.
Okay. Now, you've indicated you're a firearms examiner. What's your current title with the lab?
Currently, I am a forensic scientist 3 in the pattern evidence unit.
Okay, and as a forensic scientist 3, you specifically conduct firearms examinations?
Yes, one of my duties, or the area that I examine for forensic evidence, is firearms and tool marks, and I also conduct examinations of shoe and tire tracks.
What kind of work do you do and you've described it as examinations, but as a firearms examiner, what kinds of things are you examining?
In my capacity, I'm looking at bullets, at cartridge cases, at firearms. Those are all types of pieces of evidence that would be collected from a crime scene and submitted to the laboratory. And I examine those items with a variety of different pieces of equipment at the lab to determine whether or not a bullet or a cartridge case was fired from a particular firearm.
And when you talk about bullets or cartridge cases, sometimes do people refer to that as ballistics evidence?
They do, yes.
Okay. Now, you also indicated that you're a firearms and tool mark examiner. What do you mean by tool mark examiner? What's that?
Well, tool mark examination is sort of a broad overview of my particular discipline of forensic science. In one respect, you could consider a firearm as a tool, and the items that are fired through it are items that receive those tool marks. But also, tool marks can encompass any types of marks that are left behind from a tool. So, for example, if someone had tried to break into a building using something to pry open a window, they're using a tool, and that tool is leaving marks, say, for example, on a windowsill or on the opening where a window would be, or a variety of steps that I follow to examine the firearm, determine its operability. Is it safe? Is there anything wrong with it? Is it going to fire in the way that I expect it to? What are the safety features of it? With the end result of actually selecting ammunition from the laboratory to supply and test firing that firearm. Now, the other part of the types of examinations I would do would be on bullets and cartridge cases, looking at those using a microscope.
My next question.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize.
It's okay. Just with respect to ballistics, those ballistics items that you're talking about, bullets and casings, when you generally are talking about examinations of those, can you go ahead and explain to us what those examinations would be?
Yes, so looking at bullets and cartridge cases collected from a crime scene, there's various features that would be left behind on those items from the gun that fired it. And I'll use a variety of equipment at the lab to look at those items to determine specifically whether or not they were fired in a particular gun.
Now, For all of these things that you do with tool mark examination, firearms examinations, ballistics examinations, do you have any kind of education, training that allows you to do this type of analysis and work?
Yes, I do.
Can you go ahead and describe that for us?
Well, before I got started in the field, I did receive my Bachelor of Science degree from Rutgers University in 2001. But the main course of the main area where I learned how to become a firearms examiner was with my employment with the Miami-Dade Police Department down in Miami, Florida. When I was hired on by that department in the forensic lab down there, I began an in-house training program that was conducted under the supervision of a senior firearms examiner. And that 2-year training program included learning how firearms operate, learning about ammunition and how ammunition and firearms function together, using the equipment in the lab to look at those pieces of evidence, as well as other types of testing that a firearms examiner would conduct. So again, that training period was 2 years long. And in addition to that, in 2004, when I began working at Miami-Dade, I was also selected by the ATF, which is the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, to participate in their 1-year National Firearms Examiner Academy. And that 1-year program that was in conjunction with my in-house training consisted of examiners from all different laboratories across the country that were my instructors, and again, learning about guns, how they operate, how bullets and cartridge cases interact with guns, how to examine bullets and cartridge cases under a microscope, as well as several other types of testing that a firearms examiner would do.
And you mentioned that you were previously employed in Miami-Dade as a firearms examiner, it sounds like. Is that correct?
That's right.
For how long have you held a position as a firearms examiner or as a firearms and tool mark examiner?
Now it's been over 20 years. So I spent 10 years at the Miami-Dade lab down in Miami, Florida. I spent 6 years as the section supervisor of the Connecticut State Forensic Laboratory. And for the last almost 6 years, I've been here in New Hampshire.
In addition to conducting your own examinations of firearms and ballistics evidence, do you also serve as sort of a peer reviewer or review analyses that are conducted by other people in the department for accuracy?
Yes, I do.
Is that a standard procedure for the state lab?
It is, yes.
So is it fair to say that any work that you do, there's another person who checks your work?
It is, yes.
Now, while you've been employed either in any of your agencies that you've worked with, Miami-Dade, Connecticut, or here at the New Hampshire State Lab, have you undergone continuing education as you've been employed?
Yes, I have.
Okay, what kinds of continuing education have you had?
Well, as a member of an organization called the Association of Firearm and Tool Mark Examiners, I'm able to attend, attend training seminars that organization holds once every year in different cities across the United States. And that training is a week long and encompasses technical presentations by my peers. There's smaller workshops, but that's typically about 30 to 40 hours of training for that week. And in addition to other types of training that may become available, such as like firearms courses, that would be called armorers courses that teach a student how a particular make or model of firearm operates, like taking it apart, putting it together, troubleshooting, and other types of webinars, forensic-related webinars that might be available to stay current on the topics in the field.
Do you undergo, as part of your position with the New Hampshire State Lab, any type of proficiency examination pertaining to your work as a firearms or ballistic evidence examiner?
Yes, I do.
Can you explain that for us?
Proficiency testing is a type of testing to ensure that forensic scientists are competent in their field. The laboratory will receive from a private company essentially a practical test. I don't know what the answer is to it. It could be, for example, in the field of, it could be firearms related, so it could be bullets, it could be cartridge cases. And that type of testing to test my skills to ensure that I'm competent in conducting this type, where I would examine those pieces that are, again, the answers are unknown to me. And
so you're being provided with physical items for you to conduct an examination on, and that's the test. It's not a written test you're talking about.
Correct. It's a hands-on practical test, so bullets or cartridge cases. And once I've completed that, those results get sent to that company, that outside company that maintains these tests, and my answers are checked, and that those results are reported back to the laboratory.
Over the years, and I guess let me just ask you this, is there a certification or a need for certification to perform your job?
There's not a need for it, like a requirement, but I do hold a certification in firearms identification.
Can you explain what that is?
So through the professional organization that I belong to, the Association of Firearm and Toolmark Examiners, they do offer certification in 3 areas. So in firearms examination, in gunshot residue, and also in tool marks. So I hold a certification in firearms examination. I've held that since 2009. And to maintain that certification, one has to attain a certain number of continuing education credits for each year that you maintain your certification. And so that goes along with attending the conferences and things of that nature to maintain those certification points.
Over the years, if you know, at least that you've been at the state lab here in New Hampshire, do you know approximately how many examinations you conduct or have conducted with respect to firearms and ballistics evidence?
Oh gosh, I couldn't give you a number off the top of my head. Trying to think of the number of cases that I do per year, it would be pretty numerous, I would say.
This is one of 2 expert witnesses the state has noticed.
Have you previously testified in court as an expert witness in the area of firearms and ballistics evidence examinations?
Yes, I have.
Approximately how many times?
Between Florida, Connecticut, and here in New Hampshire, it's been over 100 times.
And you have been qualified here in the courts in the state of New Hampshire as an expert witness in that area?
Yes, I have.
Around this time, the state would offer Jill Terrio as an expert witness in the area of firearms and ballistics evidence.
No objection.
The court hereby recognizes Ms. Terrio in the areas identified as an expert witness.
Thank you. Ms. Terrio, with respect to the case that you've been called here to testify about today, can you explain to the jury how you received this case or became involved in this case for examination?
Well, these items of evidence that are related to firearms, they are submitted to the laboratory for a series of testing that goes on, whether that's latent prints or DNA. The firearms unit is typically the last unit to examine those items that have been submitted for analysis. So once the other units have completed their testing on a particular set of items, then it would be my turn to conduct that. And as of the time of when this case took place and when these items were submitted to the laboratory, there's 2 of us in the pattern evidence unit that can conduct firearms examinations, one of which is my supervisor. So typically any type of casework that would come into the laboratory would fall to me.
Before we really get started, I want to show you some physical items and see if you recognize what these are. So the first item I'm going to show you is what is in evidence, and please, if you need a minute, just go ahead.
Oh, I do.
Absolutely. Take your time.
Okay, thank you.
There are gloves there. There was another box somewhere, but those are if you need them.
Okay.
So I'm showing you what is in evidence as State's Exhibit 20A. For the current moment, I'm just going to ask you to look at the item and not remove it from its container.
Yes.
I mean, it's in evidence, but it just... Associated with that item, I'm also showing you State's Exhibit 20B. Please be careful, that's loose. And 20C.
Are you saying you can't dry it out by the fire, Red Pant? Just kidding.
Okay.
With respect to State's Exhibit 20A, is this the firearm that you received to examine related to this case?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And with respect to State's Exhibit 20B, is that the magazine for that firearm and its related ammunition that you received?
Let's see, 20, I'm sorry, which exhibit was it?
20B.
20B.
Oh, I went backwards, so I apologize. Is 20B the live cartridge that you received as part of evidence with this weapon?
Yes, it is.
And with respect to State's Exhibit 20C, is that the magazine for that firearm?
Yes, it is.
And there's also related unfired ammunition, is that fair to say?
In that item, yes.
Just correct my notes. I apologize. Ms. Terrio, I'm next going to show you what I've marked for identification purposes as 24, A, B, and C. If you could take a look at those items, let me know if you recognize them.
Yes, I do recognize these.
What are they?
These are enlargements of photographs that I took of the items of evidence that I examined in this case.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to strike the identification on State Exhibits 24A, B, and C, and admit in this folder.
No objection.
The ID may be stricken with respect to 24A, B, and C, and they shall be considered full exhibits.
Now, as you look at, I took them away. If you need them back, let me know. But State's Exhibit 24A that you just looked at, that photograph of the weapon?
Yes.
Is that consistent with how Exhibit 20A looks now?
It is, yes.
Just so that we can all look at things together. Maybe. Apparently I forgot how a pointer works. There we go. So I've got up on the screen, and you should have it next to you, and it should be in front for the jury to see as well, State's Exhibit 24A. And you've indicated that State's Exhibit 20A, as you look at it, it's in the same sort of position now.
The photograph on the screen here is how I received it when I first, before I did any examination of it. And how it's in front of me is in a slightly different position as far as its position inside of the box, but it appears to be in the same condition that when it left my custody.
So with respect to that weapon, when you received it, can you explain to us how you begin an examination as to that item?
So to examine a firearm that comes to me at the forensic laboratory, first, like we have in the photo here, I want to document how I received it. So I'll take a photograph of the outside of the package and then a photograph of the items that are inside of that package. And here we have a pistol, another plastic bag that was created by another examiner at the laboratory, and my little blue ruler that's in the photo. The first steps for my examination of a firearm, well, first I will take it out of the box, ensure that what's in the box is supposed to be there, and make sure that there's nothing missing. But my first steps for examining it are essentially walking through and looking at first the make, the model, and the serial number that's typically stamped somewhere on the firearm. And then I have a series of steps that I go through, and I have a worksheet that walks me through just documenting the physical condition of the gun. So again, make, model, serial number, the safety features that this firearm has, the overall condition of it, like is it in good condition? Does it look like it's a little beat up? The overall condition of it. I will look down the gun barrel to see if there's any obstructions, and there's also some characteristics inside of the gun barrel that are visible to your naked eye. I will note some characteristics that are inside of the gun barrel. One of the tests that I will conduct is to determine how many pounds of pressure it takes to pull the trigger on this particular gun, and to see if whether or not this gun is susceptible to any type of accidental discharge. So once I've walked through all of that, gathered all of that information, my next step would then be to test fire the firearm.
Okay. Before we get to there, with respect to this weapon as you received it, were you able to determine what the make and model are?
Yes, I did.
And what were those?
This is a 9mm caliber Beretta semi-automatic pistol, and the model is 92FS, F as in Frank, S as in Sam.
Okay. And were you able to locate the serial number on this weapon?
Yes, I was.
And what's the serial number?
The serial number is B as in Bob, E as in Edward, R 401806.
Were you able to evaluate the condition of this weapon?
Yes.
And what was the condition of it?
It was in good condition, and once I was done, it functioned as I expected.
Now, can you explain this weapon? What kind of weapon is this? Is it in terms of the way that it fires?
This pistol shown here is what's considered a semi-automatic pistol.
Can you explain to us how it is that a semi-automatic pistol fires?
There's a number of steps that occur when firing a semi-automatic pistol, but the semi-automatic part refers to the number of rounds that it'll fire when the trigger is pulled. So semi-automatic means that to fire one round, you have to pull the trigger once. So with each shot, it would be one pull of the trigger. Essentially, this type of gun would take a source of ammunition called a magazine. Some folks know it as a clip, but more correctly, it would be called a magazine. A magazine would be filled with live cartridges or rounds of ammunition. That magazine that has ammunition in it will then get placed into the grip or the handle part of the firearm. Now, in order to make this particular type of gun operate, like in the photograph here that you see on the screen, there's a top part of the firearm called the slide, and it's sort of a top part of it, and in the photograph here, it's what's called the open position. So if one were to take a magazine and put it inside of the grip or the magazine well, and you were to use a button to close the slide, that would take a live round of ammunition from the magazine, which is now inside the gun, and take that live round and put it into what's called the chamber of the barrel, of the gun barrel. So at that point, the firearm would be loaded. At that point, the way that this pistol is designed, there's a part called the hammer, which is when you send the slide forward, it'll be in a cocked position, so this firearm will be ready to fire. And then in order to shoot it, you would pull the trigger. The hammer would fall. Pulling the trigger causes the hammer to fall. The hammer will then strike a firing pin, which connects with the live round of ammunition, and through a series of events that happen super fast, that causes the gun to go off. So that'll cause the bullet to travel down the gun barrel due to a whole bunch of heat and energy that's created. So that sends the bullet down the gun barrel. All that heat and energy that's built up will also press against that top part of the gun called the slide. That'll move the slide backwards, and that will then take that now empty cartridge case out of the chamber of the firearm. And when that slide comes back, it's on spring pressure. So when that slide moves back into place, that forward motion will then take a live round of ammunition, put it into the chamber, and at that point the firearm would be ready to fire again.
When you indicate that when the slide moves back or moves forward and then back, that it would eject or remove the spent or the fired cartridge casing.
That's correct.
Is that sometimes called an ejector?
There's one portion, two portions of the gun that cause that to happen. But yes, there's one that's called an ejector, that when the casing, the empty casing comes in contact with that, that helps to flip it out of the firearm.
When this particular Beretta ejects a cartridge or a casing, does it eject to a particular side?
In general, pistols tend to extract and eject on the right and rearward, but in my experience, that's the general direction it goes in, but sometimes they don't always go that way.
Now, we've got State's Exhibit, I've got to make sure I've got them the right numbers. So we've looked at 20C, which is the magazine and the ammunition, correct?
Yes, 20C is the magazine and ammo.
We're just staring
at
at
moving forward on here, it states 24B, which is in evidence on the screen. Is that what you're seeing in State's Exhibit 20B?
Yes, that's right.
Can you explain to us what those items are?
So in this picture here, again, this is a photograph that I took of the items that were inside the package. On the left side, that sort of dark gray black item is the magazine, and on the right is a clear plastic bag that was created by a different person from the laboratory who had removed those live cartridges from the magazine.
So I want to show you another photograph that's in evidence, not one of your own, but one that's already in. Looking at State's Exhibit 24B and State's Exhibit 19H, are these the same items? So that item in 20B is KPP-2B on the bag?
Yes, the bag here says KPP-2B, yes.
Okay. Since they're all just sort of in a bag, is that consistent with the number of items that were recovered from that particular magazine?
Let's see. I have 13 that were taken out of that, and if that is 13. 12, 13. Yes, 13 are being showed in the photos.
Okay. That magazine for this weapon, the one that you examined in State's Exhibit 20C, my notes are messed up, so I apologize, 20C, can you describe to us how many rounds of ammunition that magazine itself holds?
Yes, I'm just going to refer to my notes to refresh my memory.
If that would refresh your recollection.
Yes, so this magazine is capable of holding 15 cartridges, 15 9mm cartridges.
Now, we've heard the terms throughout this trial and now through your testimony, rounds, live rounds, I'm sure I've used some of them mistakenly, cartridges, projectiles, bullets, casings. Can you explain those terms for us? Like, what kinds of terms are we talking about for the evidence that you examined relevant to this case?
So typically, with the terminology that I would use for a live round, which is perfectly acceptable terminology to call that, is also known as a cartridge. A cartridge is typically made up of 4 components, that being a bullet, a cartridge case, gunpowder, and a primer.
Do you have a demonstrative aid that you have with you today that might be able to help us understand the pieces of
she brought the
cartridge?
bullet.
I do.
She brought the plastic 3D printed bullet.
Asking permission for the witness to approach the jury in order to demonstrate to them and explain to them the components of a cartridge or a live round.
Certainly.
Okay.
Auto white balance corrects for the change of light.
So the
There's
item that I have here, this is a plastic model of a
jury.
live cartridge. It's just plastic, it's oversized, it's not an actual
And she's gone.
piece of ammunition.
She gone.
But as I was saying, the cartridge, or a live cartridge, is made of 4 components. So first there's the bullet, which is this guy, and this is typically seated in the mouth of a cartridge case. The bullet can be made of a number of different types of materials, sometimes copper, sometimes lead. A cartridge case can be brass, sometimes can be other material as well. Housed inside of this cartridge would be the gunpowder, so that's all filled up in here. So once that has gunpowder in it, the bullet fits in here like this. Now on the back of the cartridge is this little round area here. This is called the primer. And the way that this operates in a firearm is that when this is put into, say we're talking about a semi-automatic pistol, when this is put into the chamber of the gun and the trigger is pulled, the firing pin from the gun will strike this primer. The primer is made of a shock-sensitive material, so when that firing pin strikes it, it causes a small detonation, which then in turn causes the gunpowder to burn, and that's what builds up all that heat and energy that sends the bullet down the barrel of the firearm. And depending on what type of firearm you're shooting, this empty cartridge case can be extracted and ejected, or again, depending on the gun, it can remain inside of the firearm.
So, for comparison purposes, what parts of a cartridge or a live round are you able to use to conduct a comparison or to examine as part of your work as a ballistics or firearms examiner?
So the parts that I would be interested in comparing would be the bullet that was fired from the gun, so these things are now separate. Bullets can be collected from crime scenes or autopsies or things anywhere where a crime has occurred with a shooting. The cartridge case is another item because the gun has come in contact with that primer area. There's some other marks that are left behind from the gun on the primer that I would be interested in. And then on the surface of the bullet, because that has traveled down the gun barrel, it picks up scratch marks from the inside of the gun barrel, and that's what I'll be looking at, both visually unaided with a microscope as well as under a microscope to look at these marks.
When you talk about scratches in terms of what you're examining, can you explain that to us? What kinds of scratches are these? How are they created?
Well, when we're talking about that type of marking that's left behind on a bullet, the inside of the gun barrel is, it has areas of what's called lands and grooves, which are areas of high and low that are carved into the gun barrel by the manufacturer. They do it on purpose. That causes the bullet to spin when it exits, kind of like the way a quarterback throws a pass, he throws a spiral. A bullet is traveling in that spiral motion as well. And that keeps it stable as it's traveling. Because the bullet is a snug fit inside of that gun barrel, those areas of high and low are going to scratch or scrape that surface of the bullet. So as it's traveling, it's gaining these marks from the inside of the gun barrel. And that's what I use to do a comparison of, say, 2 bullets to each other, or a bullet from a scene to a bullet that I have test fired.
Thank you.
I think I want to make those.
You had
I'll make
indicated that your
demonstration.
examination of these types of ballistic evidence occurs partially visually, but then with a microscope.
Correct.
Can you explain to us is it like the microscope I used to use in science class, or is it something different?
It's similar to the one we had in science class. The device that I use is called a comparison microscope that takes two of those types of microscopes, connects them through a series of mirrors and prisms that lets the user look through a set of eyepieces and see two things at the same time.
When you are conducting this type of an examination, what kinds of conclusions can you come to after you're comparing, either you said bullets to other bullets fired at or recovered from the same place, or a bullet compared to a test fire?
The three conclusions that I can come to with regard to the forensic evidence that I look at includes an identification, which means that this bullet or this cartridge case was fired from this particular gun, or these two bullets were fired from the same gun. The opposite of that is an exclusion or an elimination, meaning that there were differences between the two. And that means that this bullet or this cartridge case was not fired in this particular firearm, or these two bullets or these two casings were not fired in the same gun. Now, right in between there is what's called inconclusive. Inconclusive basically means that there's not enough information on those items to make a definitive yes, it was, or no, it's not.
Now, I am going to ask you, and I want to do this so that we're very clear. The weapon that you have in State's Exhibit 20A inside of this box.
Yes.
As it stands right now, it's fully unloaded, is that fair to say?
Yes, it is. I can tell that by a zip tie that I've placed through the action of the firearm.
And there's no magazine inserted in it?
Correct.
Okay. With the court's permission, I would like to ask you to remove this item from the box and publish it to the jury so they can ask you some questions about it.
Okay.
Yes.
She's taking the firearm out.
Thank you.
Wow, this is different. And she doesn't have any gloves on, so there's that.
For the record, Exhibit 28, correct?
20B. Or A. I apologize. My letters are a little off in my notes, so I apologize.
Now she gets the gloves. Says you might feel a little discomfort.
There's no biological or any kind of material on this firearm, so the gloves are kind of giant. I'm gonna hold it with my bare hands.
As if that was the only concern. In this case, it's okay. Well, there we go. There we go. Rack it. It's that easy to... it's now, assuming the firing pin is still in place, it's now capable of firing, although it's not loaded. The slide is locked back. There is no magazine.
Thank you. If you could just come on up in front of this jury, and I'd like you to walk us through.
I assume the chamber is
obviously
empty.
Not doing it, but could you show us how somebody would load this firearm?
Sure, and again, just to demonstrate for everybody that this firearm is unloaded, I just unsnipped the zip tie that I had put through the action of the gun before. So it's unloaded, there's nothing in the chamber here, which is where a cartridge would go, and the magazine that normally would go right here is not present. So regardless, I'm going to keep this pointed downward just to observe all the safety procedures. And I'm sorry, you said the...
So how would somebody load this weapon?
So in its condition like this top part here is the slide that I mentioned earlier. That's locked open in an open position. But to load this firearm, you would have the magazine with cartridges in it, and that would go in this opening here in the grip that's called the magazine well. And that would snap into place and it'll click once it's properly seated.
Once the magazine is inserted inside of the weapon,
you get the slide release.
Is it ready to fire?
No.
At that point, no. In the condition like this gun is right here, where that slide is still open, one would have to close the slide in order to take a live cartridge from the top of the magazine, and that would what's called chamber the live round.
Okay. Can you demonstrate us how somebody would? Is that sometimes called racking a slide?
It is, yes.
Okay. Can you show us how that occurs and what that looks like?
You're going for the sound effect?
You can do it two ways. The first way, again, the slide is on spring pressure, so when I pull it back, it's going to overcome the little hold that's keeping it open. So you can pull it back and let it go forward. So that's one way to do it. That will close the slide. That's going to take one of those rounds of ammunition from the top and put it into the chamber. The second way to do that,
just hit the slide release.
There is a button on the side here. This is called a slide release. And if I were to use my
It's louder.
thumb
Listen.
and press that button, that will let the slide go forward. That little lock or that button is what's holding that slide open. So then that would close the slide. So you can do it two ways. You can manually do it, or you can use your thumb to release that slide and let it slide into position.
Now, once that slide has been placed into position, there would be, were this a loaded weapon, there would be a live round in the chamber and the weapon would be ready to fire.
Yes, it would. The way that this pistol is designed, this part here is called the hammer, and this is in what's called the cocked position, and that just happens, this is the hammer here, and that happened when the slide is pulled backwards. So when the slide was open, when we go to close it, using one of those two ways, that hammer is locked in the back position, so that means if you were to pull the trigger, it would fire.
What kinds of safety features are associated with this particular Beretta pistol?
There's a number of safety features. There's one right here, if you can see. Again,
She took it out.
Down, but
She
there's
just
a red dot
yanked on it, pulled it off.
that's right here, and that's indicating that the safety is off. So if I were to rotate this lever, now what that did right there, that's two things that happen. One, it's a manual safety that will keep the gun from firing. And that click that we all just heard is called a decocker.
It's a decocker.
That will
Sounds like a
safely
decocker.
drop that hammer without having to pull the trigger. So as we saw, the hammer was cocked backwards, but if you use that lever, that manual safety / decocker, that will safely lower the hammer without firing the gun. So that's one safety feature. There's another one inside that is not visible from, not really visible from the outside, but it's called a firing pin block. And essentially that's doing exactly what it sounds like. It's keeping the firing pin, it's blocking the firing pin from moving forward. So the only way that that is deactivated is by pulling the trigger. Pulling the trigger will work some of the internal components to move something out of the way, move a block out of the way, and that will let the firing pin go forward. I'm trying to think what else it has without looking at my notes.
If you need your notes to refresh your recollection, just let us know.
Okay. I believe there's also a loaded chamber indicator on this, which is actually the extractor. The extractor is that little piece of the firearm that will pull the empty cartridge case or cartridge out of the chamber. When there's a round in here, this little piece actually sticks out just a tiny bit.
Like a millimeter.
And
it has a little red.
There's like a bit of orange on there, but it's
red.
either a visual or you can feel it with your finger. You'd be able to feel or see that extractor, and when that happens, you know that there is a live round in the chamber.
You know there is a round in the chamber. If it didn't
Not sure
expel
I'm going to
properly.
phrase this correctly, so please correct me. When firing this weapon, does it have sights?
It does, yes.
Can you explain to us what those are?
Tritium?
There's two sights on this firearm. There's one in the front towards the muzzle end of the gun, and then there's another one back here towards the back of the firearm.
And what are sights?
They are on the firearm to assist in aiming at a target.
And you had described to us earlier when you were seated and without the weapon in your hand about ejecting from the gun. Can you show where that ejection would occur from on this weapon?
Yes. So what I'm going to do here is open the slide and lock it open. So on the top of the gun here, there's this opening. Inside here is the chamber. This is the chamber.
I've never had a trial with this much detail about the gun.
So the extractor and the ejector, when this slide is coming backwards, that will cause the decocker decocking the gun.
The judge is not comfortable.
That will fly out of this open area here. So when this slide is open, this little area here, this opening, is where that empty casing, or if you were extracting a live round, that's where that would fly out and fire.
And I think one more question before I give you a break and let you sit down. With respect to this weapon, you indicated that part of your examination involved testing to see how much force was required to pull the trigger?
Yes.
How much force, or can you demonstrate or explain to us how much force is needed to pull this trigger?
Well, specifically, I'd have to go back and refer to my notes for the exact poundage of how much force it takes to do this. But this gun operates in what's called single action and double action. Single action refers to what happens, how many things happen when you pull the trigger. So when it's in single action mode, sorry, this is kind of a long explanation to get there, but.
It's okay, whatever you need to get us there.
So when the slide comes forward, and remember how we have that hammer in that cocked position, if I were to fire this gun, that would be called single action, because when you pull the trigger, one thing is happening. So I'm gonna, the gun's empty, but I'm gonna demonstrate. So this would be how many pounds of pressure is what I'm measuring to make that
dry
happen.
fire.
And I'll do that a number of times, about 3 times, to determine how many pounds it takes to cause it to fall and where the trigger, the hammer will not fall. Now, there's another mode that this can fire in. Say, for example, we've decocked the firearm, so that hammer is now down, safely lowered down. You can still fire it if the safety's off, but what we're doing here is operating it in double action. And so what that means is that when I pull the trigger, you can watch the hammer come back and then let go. So 2 things are happening when I pull the trigger. One, it's cocking back, and then 2, it's releasing. So there's single action, there's double action, and each of those has slightly different pounds of pressure. I'll refer to my notes for the exact, but there's different pounds of pressure to be able to pull the trigger for each of those modes.
Thanks so much. You can go ahead and return to your seat.
I don't know where she pointed it during that demonstration, but at one time it was the back wall behind the judge or off to his side. I'm just going to stick it back in there and pointed at us in the process. She just stuck a piece of plastic in there. That's good enough. It's not zip tied. It's not locked.
I'll go ahead and restate that question. If you recall, or if you can refresh your recollection, can you describe to us how many pounds of pressure it takes to pull this trigger, both in single action and then in double action mode?
I can. Referring to my notes, for single action, it takes 4 to 5 pounds of pressure to pull that, and in double action, it's about 9.5 to 10 pounds.
Is there something that you can give us, sort of a real-world measurement, but 4 to 5 pounds, what does that equate to?
4 to 5 pounds would be about a bag of sugar from the grocery store. You can imagine how much that weighs. I think these days it's 4 pounds because they're smaller. 9.5 to 10 pounds would be a large bag of flour, for example, or a gallon of milk, maybe a little bit heavier than a gallon of milk. So you can imagine sort of the weights of that. That's how much pressure would be put on the triggers in either single or double action.
Now, you had indicated earlier in your testimony that part of what you had done was test this weapon for functionality, and that you did find it to function as you expected.
Yes.
Is that partially by firing the weapon and checking to see if it operates?
It is, yes.
And did you conduct any tests to determine whether the weapon could jar off?
I did, yes.
And what is jar off?
That means that's a term that I use to determine if a gun is susceptible to an accidental discharge from some kind of jarring action to it.
Was this weapon susceptible to jar off?
It was not.
Now, before I move into the other evidence that you received in this case, specifically the evidence from the scene, in test firing a gun, can you explain to us that process and what you do with the test fired round that you recover?
When I go to test fire a firearm, typically that's the second part of what I do. First, I typically would look at bullets or cartridge cases, and that kind of steers me in the direction of what type of ammunition I would need to test fire, just to try to look at things that are similar to what was recovered from the crime scene. So I would then select an appropriate type of ammunition, typically 3 cartridges, but I'm not limited to 3, but typically 3. The laboratory that I work in has what's called the test fire room. And in that room is, it's essentially a tank of water that's connected to sort of a pool filter that when I fire into it, the water slows down the bullet so that it's not damaged, so that I can examine it under the microscope. The pool filter part just kind of sucks it out of the tank and deposits it into a little a basket for retrieval. But I will choose the appropriate type of ammunition for the case. I will test fire the gun, and I'll test it as well in single and double action. And that's to determine how the gun's functioning.
Why into a water tank?
That's typically the type of bullet retrieval device that forensic laboratories use. There's sort of variations on a theme of that, whether or not they're vertical or horizontal, but essentially the water slows the bullet down enough so it's not damaged when it hits the water, and then it's in a good enough condition for me to microscopically examine it.
So let's move on to the other evidence that you received, because you received this weapon and all of its parts, but you also received some additional materials that you were asked to look at in order to conduct a comparison. Is that fair to say?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm going to show you what is, I'm sorry to pile up so many things on you. I'm showing you what is in evidence as State's Exhibit 28 and as State's Exhibit 29 for this case. They're already opened if you want to take those items out and look at them.
I'm sorry, but the right thing to do here is to re-secure that firearm. Zip ties, it's not a fail-safe, but it's one more step away from it being in a fireable condition. And they have live rounds in the courtroom.
Okay. Do you recognize those items?
Yes, I do.
Were they part of your examination?
Yes, they are.
Now, those are casings and a projectile. Is that fair? A casing and a projectile, fair to say?
Correct, yes. One casing and one bullet or one projectile.
Is there some way in which you know that you examined those two items yourself?
There is, yes.
Can you explain what that is?
Excuse me. Well, first I recognize my initials on the outside of the packaging, but more specifically on the items themselves. On the cartridge case, I will have scribed with an engraving tool on the body, on sort of the body part of the cartridge case. I will scribe the case number, the item number, and my initials, so that way I know that this is the case that this belongs to, which I can see here. And then on the bullet, once that has been cleaned, I will also inscribe that same information, the case number, which particular item number this is, and my initials.
Now, once you examined those two items, you were able to choose an ammunition that matched up with them. Is that fair to say?
Yes, it is.
Inside of State's Exhibit 20A, there's a small envelope. Does that contain your test-fired rounds that you fired into that water tank and recovered?
It does, yes.
Now, with respect to your examination of the casing and then the projectile, could you walk us through what you did?
So once I have examined, well, first on a preliminary basis, I will have examined the bullet and the cartridge case, gathering all of the physical characteristics of each of those items. Again, filling out a worksheet that asks for all of the pertinent information. So if I'm talking about the bullet, it would be how much does it weigh, what caliber is it, what is it made of, any type of damage to it, and I'll conduct that same sort of overview of the cartridge case. Once I've done that, then on the microscope that I use to conduct the comparisons, I will use one of the test-fired bullets that I just shot from the firearm, and I microscope, and then the evidence bullet on the other stage of the microscope. And again, looking through the eyepieces on this piece of equipment lets me see those two things at the same time. And so I will, on the bullet, look for those scratch marks that I discussed earlier, those individual characteristics that are unique to that particular gun, looking for that same pattern, matching that pattern that I see on the surface of the bullet from the crime scene. And so once I've done that, I can come to one of those three conclusions, and I'll conduct a similar examination on the fired cartridge case, again with a test-fired cartridge case on one side of the stage of the microscope and the one from the scene on the other, and again looking for agreement, matching patterns that I'm seeing on the two of those to determine whether or not this bullet or this cartridge case was fired in this gun.
So with respect to State's Exhibit 28, which is the casing,
yes,
were you able to make a determination or conclusion based on your examination of that item?
Yes, I was.
What was your conclusion?
I determined that the cartridge case was fired in the Beretta pistol.
And where were the markings that you looked at that allowed you to determine that? In terms of generally, what kinds of tool marks did you see?
Sure. Again, I'm just going to refer to my notes. So on this, I was specifically looking at where the firing pin struck the cartridge case on the primer. So there were details in that impression of the firing pin of the gun on both my test fires and on the on the fired cartridge case, and then there was another area of the primer of the question cartridge case that came in contact with the gun called the breech, and I also saw agreement of those areas, those corresponding areas on the cartridge cases.
With respect to State's Exhibit 29, which is the bullet, and I'm just going to show a closer-up image of that item in State's Exhibit 24C. Is this the bullet or projectile that you received?
Yes, it is.
And just so we're clear, this is not under a microscope, correct? This is just a close-up photograph that you took?
It's through a type of a microscope called a stereo microscope. It just lets you see things a little bit larger, but it's not like a comparison microscope that I use for looking at two things.
But this fairly shows what that projectile looked like when you examined it, and then you got it to go in a little bit closer and see the microscopic markings, fair to say?
That's correct.
Okay. When you examined State's Exhibit 29, which is the projectile or the bullet recovered from the scene, what, if any, determination or conclusion were you able to make based on that examination of that item to the Beretta?
After comparing the bullet, the question bullet, to the test-fired bullets that I made from the Beretta pistol, I determined that that question bullet, the one on the screen, was fired in the Beretta pistol.
Court's indulgence?
Right now there is one loose round of 9mm that's been sitting out on a little bag that's open, and the gun is ready to load. Meaning, if you had that round, you could drop it in the chamber, hit the slide release, and be ready to fire.
Just one question
very, very
about this particular Beretta handgun. If there were a magazine, a loaded magazine, inserted into that weapon, is it possible to insert that magazine without simultaneously loading a live cartridge into the chamber?
Yes.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry.
That's what I just said.
Is there any way to put a 15-round magazine into that Beretta handgun and not have one of the rounds load into the chamber and be ready to fire?
Yes.
Decock first.
I sure will, yes. If you took the magazine that had ammunition in it and simply just placed it in the gun, whether or not the slide is open or closed, wouldn't matter at that point. But if you were to just place the magazine, the loaded magazine, into the pistol, there would not be any round in the chamber of the gun because that slide hasn't moved back and forth to be able to take one from the magazine and put it into the chamber. So that would be whether the slide was open or closed.
So let me ask you if you can take the gun, come over here and show us how that would work. Don't insert the magazine, but go ahead and show us how that would work.
Okay, let's bring all the parts over.
Okay, and again, just to show everyone, the magazine is empty. There's no ammunition in it, and the firearm is still unloaded.
I've never seen them go to this extent. This helps someone who doesn't understand how it works.
If this magazine had ammunition in it, again, it would be placed into the magazine well of the firearm.
This goes against our safety training.
The only way that you would be able to get around from here into the chamber would be to pull the slide back and let it go forward, which would then take that first round that's on the top of here and put that into the chamber. But if the gun was simply, I'm going to talk this really quick. If the
Look at all the
firearm was
flinching
simply like
in the
this,
clicks.
with the slide closed, and you took your magazine with ammunition in it, again, it's empty. But if you were to put it in like that and didn't do anything else, there would not be a round in the chamber.
So as that weapon would be, if that magazine that you put in there had 15 rounds, which is capacity, is that fair to say?
Yes.
Inside of it, and it was in this position, and you put the magazine in, there would not be a round in the chamber ready to fire.
Right, because the slide is closed, there's no ammunition, well, in this case, there's no ammunition in the mag, but if there was some in here, and you were to just simply put this into place, there's nothing in the chamber of the gun as of yet. But if you were to manipulate the slide back and forth, that would then put put a round in the chamber of the gun.
So if you were storing your weapon in this manner, with the loaded 15-round mag inside of the handle or the magazine well, and had not placed or moved the slide to have a live cartridge loaded, and you wanted to fire the gun, can you show us what you would have to do?
To actually fire it?
To fire it.
Well, there would have to be again ammo in the magazine. you would take your, this isn't going to work quite as well because this is empty and it's going to hold the slide open because this is empty, but I'll demonstrate from here.
Oh, it's total overkill.
So this is loaded, this firearm is like this. If you were to put the magazine in, and I'm not going to seat it totally because if it's empty and I pull the slide back, it's going to lock open. But if I rack the slide like that and there was ammunition in the magazine, that racking of that slide would then put around.
They're doing this just for that sound.
At this point, I had the safety on, so the hammer couldn't be locked in that ready-to-go position. But if the safety was off, you can see the little red button. I'm just going to reseat that. So if we put that in, and we close the slide, and there was a round in there, at that point it would be ready to fire. If you were to pull the trigger at this capacity in this position here, it would go off. But again, if you decock it, it's not going to, that decocking lowers it safely.
Thank you.
We've now had a complete hunter safety class, at least the handheld demonstration portion. Can we re-secure it?
That's the cartridge case.
We're just going to close the box.
Oh.
Now we're going to put all the bullets and the gun together in the courtroom somewhere.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay.
Good afternoon, very briefly.
Sure.
When you demonstrated over here with the Beretta 9mm pistol racking the slide to be able to load the chamber with a bullet from the magazine, how much pressure would that take?
To pull the slide backwards? That's not a measurement that I have. It is under spring pressure, so there's, I couldn't even begin to put it like a poundage pressure because it's not something I'm able to test for.
Oh, how can you test for the trigger pressure?
Well, for the trigger, to see how much pounds of pressure it takes to pull the trigger, I have essentially what's it's called a spring gauge. It kind of looks like a scale, like you would use to measure how heavy your luggage is before you go to the airport. But that has a hook on it that I can place on the trigger of the gun to determine how many pounds of pressure in single or double action to do that. But there's no device to measure how much pressure it is to pull the slide backwards.
You could make one really easily.
Could you tell us if it's the amount of pressure used is more or less than pulling the trigger?
Overruled.
Objection overruled.
Again, I don't really know how much pressure it would be. Like for the single action, it's between 4 and 5 pounds. The double action is 9.5 to 10 pounds. So I'm trying to think. I would just be guessing at that point. I really couldn't put a specific number on that.
Yep, not a specific number, but you could say it more or less.
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
She's an expert. She's an expert. She's allowed to. Now, this is an interesting line of questioning they're headed down. I think they're trying to attack her credibility for the details because she only knows what she's been told. She doesn't know the other. But, yeah, she's an expert. She can speculate all she wants. The hook can't go on the slide, but you can make a clamp that grabs the slide, and the hook goes onto the clamp. And then it's pretty simple that way. Just make sure you're pulling horizontal so you're not also adding the weight of the clamp onto the measurement, and you're good. I'm surprised that the firearm hasn't been secured. Okay, and I realize I understand when a gun is unloaded, and I understand when it's safe. I personally own them. I've carried concealed weapon, been licensed in multiple states for that. I understand firearms. I've shot my entire life. But there's a right thing to do and a wrong thing to do. And in this scenario, where first of all, where you have defendants in a courtroom, okay, we have defendants showing up to court in the courthouse. you want to secure the firearm.
Pistol, and today you were able to feel how it is to pull the trigger single action, correct?
Yes.
And you were able to feel how it is to pull the trigger in double action, correct?
Yes.
And you were able to feel how feel the force used to pull the slide back, correct?
Yes.
But you can't tell us how much that is.
And how it feels, does it feel like it's as much pressure or more? Is that fair to say?
I think if I had to estimate, I don't think it's as light as the single action is, because that's pulling the trigger. That's 4 to 5 pounds isn't a whole lot. 10 to 12 is pretty, what I would describe as a stiff trigger, stiff-ish type of trigger. So I would say maybe somewhere in between there, roughly. But that's not particularly scientific. There's no real way that I'm aware of to determine exactly what that poundage would be to pull that slide back.
She's done a good job, but she's not thinking outside the box at all. She's avoided their answer. She avoided answering their question.
Sure.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, can Ms. Theriot be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The bailiff should step forward at this point and say, Your Honor, can we take just a moment and resecure the firearm? Instead, he's too busy opening the door for the witnesses. Saying, thank you, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I have no redirect. I think I said that.
Sure.
Your Honor,
She's gone.
Sorry, I was waiting for the court. I don't believe at this time that the state has any further witnesses to call today.
For today? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so members of the jury, scheduling in a trial, obviously as part of the jury selection process, we informed you it would be a 2-week trial. Witness scheduling in these matters can sometimes be a little bit difficult, so to speak. I will inform you that we're making good progress over the course of the trial. And what that means is that the state has one expert witness, one witness who is slated to testify on Thursday. That person is slated to testify on Thursday. And based upon consultation with counsel relative to the order of witnesses, what has been determined is that we can have that other witness besides the 2 witnesses the state intends to call, that they can be called to testify on Thursday. What I'm getting to in a roundabout fashion is it looks like we're going to take tomorrow off relative to scheduling. Once again, we appreciate your service. We appreciate your patience. Scheduling in these matters, as I said, sometimes can be difficult. But rather than have you come in for just a half day tomorrow, we'd rather say that we will not have the trial be conducted tomorrow, and instead we'll push it into a longer day on Thursday from an efficiency standpoint. I know some of you may disagree with that, but that's the decision that I've made relative to the overall pattern of scheduling. So once again, based on the order of witnesses, we'll take tomorrow off. We'll convene again at 9 o'clock on Thursday for what would be another longer day on Thursday, again, rather than breaking it up into smaller chunks and having you come in each day. So I've made that decision with consultation with counsel, and they both agree relative to that. We're on good scheduling as far as the trial as a whole is concerned. So once again, as I've advised you in the past, there is media presence with respect to this matter. I instruct you, I order you to not do any research whatsoever with respect to any of the matters that you've heard about here, whether it's online research or in-person research or anything else. I advise you not only not to discuss the case amongst yourselves, but do not discuss the case or the evidence with anyone else outside the courtroom. Again, everything that your decision in this case needs to be based upon what you hear in this courtroom and from no other source. And if there is any information that I receive as to any interference with those instructions, I will be forced to take action with it. So again, I appreciate your respecting my orders in that regard. And again, please take affirmative steps to avoid inadvertent exposure to any of the media accounts. And finally, again, through your own social media, if you choose to do so, please do not discuss or broadcast any aspect of the case whatsoever. Again, I appreciate your service, I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate your willingness to abide by these instructions. Counsel, anything else before we excuse the jury for the day?
No, yeah.
Okay, so 9 o'clock on Thursday. Thank you very much for your understanding under the circumstances, and we'll see you then.
We made it an extra hour today as opposed to yesterday. Now the bailiff comes up to the I thought he was going to go secure the box. The box with the weapon in it and the ammunition is all grouped together on the table next to the clerk. When the prosecutor in the blue jacket there sits down, you'll see right next to the clock. Oh, she moved. Oh, now they're looking at it. It's open right now. They've got it open. Can we put a lock on that? She says.
Thank you. Please be seated. Anything at this time, counsel? From defendant, anything at this time? Okay, all right, thank you. Court will be in recess. Whatever exhibits need to be attended to with the monitor, please do so. Okay, thank you very much. And 9 o'clock on Thursday? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they are going to put a lock on it, and it's the court clerk who called it out. Way to go, court clerk. Appreciate that. All right, the trial watchers are filing out. Possibly some reporters as well. Made it an extra hour further than yesterday, but now we find out that we get tomorrow off. So tomorrow is hump day. It is Wednesday. It's halfway through the work week. It also happens to be the podcast day because we're a day early because Thomas has a conflicting schedule item. So we have a couple things scheduled tomorrow. We might have to do some court hopping, or maybe we'll dig into some of the tea that's going around. There's a lot of stuff happening in various cases. Corey Richens, Karen Reed, well, specifically Michael Proctor. There's stuff out and about. We might do some reading through some documents, or we might do some court hopping. Either way. So, all right. Let's go over here. It's also nearly my birthday. That is very important, Brady B. Thank you very much. Did you ever get the info on the Wisconsin trial? Someone was going to watch. I think it was Wyoming, Laurie, and I don't think it's able to be streamed. Lulu gifted a membership. Thank you, Lulu. Lulu, it went to Mimi. Congratulations, Mimi. Thanks for the generosity, Lulu. Let's see. This makes me want to do some blammy maintenance now. Right. Let's see. Chat voted on Wednesday or Friday. Don't miss the podcast tomorrow night. It was Wednesday, yeah. The chat overwhelmingly selected Wednesday. All right. Anything else we need to cover today? As I'm just reading chat and enjoying it. Anything we need to discuss in this trial? I will say this. I think what the state is doing here, with especially what they did with the firearms and tool marks lady, why they went into such detail and why they did the presentation hands-on with the actual firearm in front of the jury, and how many times she racked the slide and dry fire and make the noise. That's a scary sound for some people. That's a scary sound. It could have been that the defense at the very beginning, when they called the witness, say the state will stipulate that the defense fired that round. They could have done that, and I wouldn't put it past them. The defense could have said that. The state might not accept that because The state has to overcome that hurdle of what was happening at the time the shot was fired. And we have his word and pretty much nobody else's. So they have this hurdle, and it might be better if we have look at all the scary gun testimony in front of the jury to say, and this is what he did. And in that moment, you heard, that sound you heard. He racked the slide. That's the last thing that she heard. And he pointed the gun at her. I think they want that. They want the jury to be able to visualize the sounds that would have happened right before leading up to the sound that the 4-year-old heard that, reported to the doctor that her ear hurt because of. The state has to overcome that burden of proof that it was not a legitimate, justified killing. And this is probably the best way they can do that. So I don't have a palate cleanser right now lined up. Need to play with a very bored, sequestered dog. Let's see. Let's see. See if this one will work. We have Judge Wolf is doing a thing. Let me check in with him really quickly.
Right. So during the time when you got picked up, nothing had changed as far as you were taking care of him.
Yes, everything had been, I was taking care of him. I was at the house.
Okay, it's terrible audio on that one. I'm going to veto that one. Let's see if we've got... Judge Boyd is not live that I can see.
Without a successful or confirmed payment, correct?
Correct.
Okay, what's going on, Ms. Toll?
Well, I went to the meter, and I'm not from Royal Oak. But I was looking at the meter, and I thought that it read that it was not enforced after 6, but I recently went back and realized I was incorrect about that. So I will pay the ticket as requested.
Okay. All right. Ms. Toll, the court appreciates your honesty, and honesty counts for a great deal. So what this court is going to do is assess a fine of half, $10, that is payable through the pay portal on the 44th District Court website, or you may walk a cash check and charge into this court, 400 East 11 Mile Road, Monday through Friday between 8:30 and 4:30. That's going to be due within 14 days. That completes your hearing. Now we know. And once you sufficiently learn this parking system, you'll have the privilege of learning a whole new one in about 9 months. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Care. Good luck.
Is that the last one, Judge? Or do we have anybody else who gets to pay a parking ticket? How do you make any money in this town if you keep excusing the tickets?
This is case number 25, P. Light Parking 229121. It is People of the City of Royal Oak versus General Motors Limited Liability Corporation in the person of one Ryan Hopkins. Good afternoon again, sir.
General Motors?
Hi there. Mr. Hopkins, you were present earlier today when the court explained the nature of an informal hearing. Is that true?
That is true.
So you understood the court to instruct that you must select from one of 3 options protecting your rights, correct?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Mr. Hopkins, a citation before the court was issued concerning a parking episode of September 2 this year at 5:45 p.m. A vehicle plated to you or a member of your household entered space 2825 on Lafayette Avenue, remained until 6:37 p.m. Total park time 51 minutes, 34 seconds. However, there is no confirmed record of a effective payment made and therefore no purchase time. So this is overtime at meter, a 0-point non-moving violation. You may admit responsibility, you may admit and explain, or you can deny responsibility and we'll conduct a brief trial. What would you like the court to do for you?
I will admit and explain. That indeed was my car there.
Okay,
However,
I'm sorry, slow down. It's informal, but I still have to take a few important facts to make a record.
Yeah.
So you are confirming to the court that on the date in question, you were operating a motor vehicle in the city of, strike that, you had a vehicle parked or stationary in the city of Royal Oak for the time stated without sufficient payment, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The court accepts your plea. What would you like the court to know?
The pay station on the block in which I parked was broken at the time. I was running late for a meeting, and I put the car, went to put the credit card in. I live in Huntington Woods, so I'm in Royal Oak all the time. You know, I was using it correctly, but the meter seemed to be broken.
I was using it correctly, but the meter seemed broken.
When you say the meter, you're referencing the kiosk?
The kiosks, yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. Is there anything else you want the court to know, Mr. Hopkins?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Officer Fraser, what can you share with the court?
He mentioned that he used a credit card. I can mention this is just a little something different. At that time, from about noon until 8 o'clock, there were no cash payments made on that meter. I can check credit card real quick. Just give me 1 second. I can see if there were
Take all the time you need.
Any other credit card payments as well.
Uh-oh. Mr. Hopkins is nervous now.
It looks like there were 2 that day. There's one for 75 cents. There is no vehicle in the spot. So this possibly could be Mr. Hopkins' payment. I can't confirm or deny that. It is a 1 meter difference. This one's spot 2825. This is for spot 2826. Oh, I forgot to look at the time. That was from 11 a.m. So that one would not be it.
Okay.
But yeah, there was only 2 payments there. That is a little bit of a less traffic area, but you would expect a little bit more than 2 payments. So it is possible there was an issue. I can't confirm or deny that.
Oh, I got lucky.
Mr. Hopkins, the court has accepted your plea. However, in light of the candid remarks from the city, at this time, the court's going to waive the fines and costs in that matter. Be wary. You still have that lease vehicle?
I don't actually.
Okay. Well, whatever you're driving in Royal Oak, the camera never blinks. So
absolutely, I downloaded the app since then.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Have a good one.
Everybody gets. You show up to court and you fight it. This is court light. Yeah, we're a little palate cleanser at the end of the day after talking about some pretty sad murders.
And the court calls case number 25P like parking. 227776. This is people of the city of Royal Oak versus Cedric George Holland. That's you, Mr. Holland. There.
Mr. Holland.
Mr. Holland, you're muted, so whatever you might need to do with your device to unblock your microphone. If you could unmute, Mr. Holland. Okay, justice is waiting patiently for you, Mr. Holland. Can you unmute your microphone? All right, we'll return Mr. Holland back to the waiting room.
Thomas,
and see if
tomorrow.
he might be able to get that sorted out.
Thank you, Thomas. 32 months of support. Great mod, great friend.
You might have to disconnect and come.
Yeah.
And podcast partner. Hey, here's Google Pixel 9.
You were Karen and Davio, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, this is case number 25, Light Parking 228115, people of the city of Royal Oak versus Karen and Davio. Ms. Davio, you were present earlier today when the court explained the nature of an informal hearing. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And so you understood the court to instruct that you must select from one of 3 options protecting your rights, correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Davio. The citation before the court concerns a permit parking episode. So please stand by.
Hold, please.
It is said that on August 31st of this year, at approximately 4:30, a vehicle plated to you or a member of your household was parked at 5th and Troy during the Arts, Beats, and Eats Festival without a proper permit for that zone.
We're still doing
if you
festival
may or may
tickets.
not recall, every year at the Royal Oak Arts, Beats, and Eats Festival, the entire Central Business District is cordoned for permit parking only. So this is a violation of permit parking. The maximum possible penalty is $50. That does not indicate that is what the penalty could be today, but regardless, Ms. Davio, this is your date in court. You may admit responsibility, or you can admit and explain, or you may deny responsibility and will swear the parties and take testimony. What do you want the court to do for you?
I will admit and explain.
Very well. So you're confirming to the court that on the date in question, you did have a vehicle parked or stationary within the permit parking zone of Arts, Beats, and Eats without proper permit, correct?
I did have a permit, but I just had it on the wrong side. I have the permit right here. I just had that wrong side up. I didn't have the address side up.
Oh, no. Can you hold that up to your device?
Yes.
Okay, I have to switch off that just for a minute because it does show her ID.
And
yes, Your Honor, we can dismiss this one. She lives on Troy Street. We are told the closer and closer that we get to the event, if the address is not face up, we are encouraged to write it. That was this case here. I did see her permit. It was just a matter of not being able to see the address.
All right.
I did see her
Forewarned is
permit.
forearmed for next year, Ms. Davio.
Thank you.
When you're around town, and you must just love Arts, Beats, and Eats as much as every other Royal Oak resident. When you're around next year, if you haven't managed to somehow escape town, make sure to put that thing face up. All right?
All right.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
This is my way of life. Admit and explain. Oh, who's here? Hey, Barb. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Your name, please?
What does it say behind her?
Barbara
Life is
Bachman.
all.
And are you here on behalf of, get the last name again?
Baughman, Baughman.
See, that looks like Bauman to the untrained eye.
I know. You can call me whatever you want.
And that is on behalf of David Oberly Baughman?
Actually, it's me. It was just his name is on the.
Right. So this is case number 25P, like parking 174961. This is People of the City of Royal Oak versus David Overly Baughman, and you are Barbara Baughman, correct?
Yes.
Ms. Baughman, you were present earlier today when the court explained the nature of an informal hearing. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And so you understood the court to instruct that you must select from one of three options to protect your rights, correct?
Yes.
Ms. Baughman, the citation before the court. Stay with the court for a moment.
Where are we going to go,
This is
Judge?
a lot MPS case, is it not?
Yes, correct, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah. The citation before the court does indicate that on July 2nd of this year at 1:58, a vehicle plated to you or a member of household, Mr. Baughman, was parked in parking lot 7 on West 6th Street in the city of Royal Oak, entered 1:58, exited 3:53, total time parked 1 hour, 55 minutes, 34 seconds. However, there's no record of a successful payment made and therefore no purchase time. So it is a civil parking infraction, non-moving 0 points of overtime at lot. You may, Ms. Baughman, admit responsibility. You can admit and explain, or you may deny responsibility, and we will swear the parties and take testimony. What do you wish the court to do for you?
Number 3, deny.
Very well. Please raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth, so help you God?
Got spicy all of a sudden.
Thank you very much. The officer proceeds first, then it's your turn, Ms. Baughman. Officer Fraser.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I am Michael Frazier. I am representing the Royal Oak Police Department Parking Enforcement Office. The date in question is going to be 7/2 of 25. The parking started at 1:58:05 and exited at 3:53:39. This is in our parking lot 7, which is located at 6th and Main.
They have cameras.
There's no payment shown, so after that 15 minutes, the ticket was generated. In research, I researched just to make sure that there was nothing as a missed exit by chance. There was not. The vehicle was not spotted around at any other spot in the city. And then I did a little bit more research about payments that have been made. She has made 14 payments within about 2 years. So that is all I have for Your Honor.
Very well.
Barb?
So it's your testimony that you're not aware of any malfunctions, that the data was appropriately entered. Is that correct?
You didn't say anything about
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further?
Nope.
Ms. Hoffman, it's your turn. What do you want the court to know?
Well, I come to Royal Oak every 3 weeks to get my hair done. And I have never, ever not paid for parking. My first ticket was in September of 2023. And every few months I get another ticket, and I go through my credit cards. I send them proof that I paid, and a letter stating that, and then I get back a thing that it's been dropped, whatever. And I've had several of these. I have an actual folder for Royal Oak for all of my tickets that I've been receiving over the past 3 years.
Okay.
So on this last one, on 7/2, the girl that does my hair said you can pay after your appointment instead of before, so you know exactly what it is and whatever. So that's what I started doing. So on 7/2, after my appointment, I put my credit card in, and the machine said it was 75 cents. I have proof from my credit card that I did pay 75 cents. I sent that in with the letter.
I'm sorry, that was too fast for this court's old eyeballs. So can you hold that up once more?
Can you see it?
Just a little higher, please.
Just a little higher.
Okay, I can show
Okay. And can you move it over to your left so the court might be able to see the date there she blows? Okay, thank you.
We can show that.
Now, keep moving, Ms. Boltman. You're doing fine.
Okay, so I sent this paper along with my ticket and a letter, and then I got back, this, which says that I accepted responsibility, which I did not. So I sent the credit card proof again with another letter. And then I got this "you should appear in court" thing. So I feel like a common criminal every time I come to Royal Oak, because I pay every time, and then I turn around and then I have to go through my receipts and then send you guys a letter, and then I get okayed. But this time I didn't get okayed, so I'm saying I did not accept responsibility, and I still don't.
Well, it could be a term of art, so to speak. It appears as though one of the other magistrates did in fact review your letter, and based upon mere language, he interpreted that there was some form of an acceptance of responsibility. That being said, officer, what, if anything, would the 75 cents cover in terms of time?
It would have covered 1 hour, Your Honor.
Okay.
Well, and here's the thing. I put my card, when I put in my license plate, it came up, it said I owed 75 cents. I put my credit card in. It charged me for the 75 cents, and I left and went home. So
That's because you just started paying the lowest
I
charge
tried.
1 hour.
Right. No, I gotcha.
And just bear with the court one more moment.
This judge can be like, we finally got her.
Okay. So in the best case scenario, I'm sorry, any rebuttal testimony, Officer Fraser?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Best case scenario here, Ms. Buffman, is that you covered
Wait
half?
1 second, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I can tell you what happened. The plate was typed in incorrect. This plate is DHC. The plate that got payment was DCH.
Okay. And based upon that, do you have anything you wish to further draw to the court's attention?
Add it to the file.
The reason that it did not take the full $1.50 out is because what happens with the payment after the fact is that when you pull in, if you go to pay after, when you type in the plate, it will attach it to the plate to when it got scanned the first time. The reason it didn't attach it is because it thought it was two different vehicles.
Okay.
Okay, so
Does that
that's
help?
my fault that I typed in the wrong.
Trust me, don't feel bad. It happens way more often than you would think. It happens.
Just turn yourself into the jail.
Probably
Serve your week.
We get hundreds of tickets like that all the time. Do not feel bad at all.
Okay. Ms. Buffman, operator error, which does occur to all of us.
I'm sorry.
There's a reason that in every office across the planet Earth, including at police departments, there are still erasers on any pencils. So with that said, what the court's going to do is while we are finding you responsible, this court will waive the fines and costs in this matter. You had not posted a bond, correct?
No.
Okay.
75-cent bond.
Now you'll know how to manage the next time around. Your hair looks lovely. You take care. Have a great day.
Oh, thank you. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Add that to your file. I'm so glad we got these. The court has made
Mr. Holland to
no money.
become verbal.
Well, no, $10. They made $10 today.
Cedric Holland.
Happy birthday.
He did it again.
When he comes in,
All right.
I don't think he can see it. I think it's just automatically done like that.
At this point, Barb needs to file a class action lawsuit
Until just now.
against the city of Royal Oak.
Is there a way to like get him out of the waiting room so he has to reconnect again?
I can kick him all the way out.
I would do
Yeah,
that and see if he just comes back in.
It takes a minute for him to come back in. Though.
Try that.
That you've been trying to get his attention, and if he's calling on the phone, I'm thinking that's the reason why.
Bad Mouse
That
Finals.
might get his attention. Removing him.
That's funny.
Hi,
Hi.
can I have those?
Nope.
I'll have this then. That's fine, Chris.
Yes, you can have.
He's in a waiting room. Oh, there
Stand
went
by-
Fraser.
Oh, there he is. Stand by for just another minute or so. You with that black background, you look like that famous visual arts instructor, Bob, what's his head? Who would have the
Bob
easel?
Ross.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
You're good at this game. Look at you.
The bald guy
doesn't
looks
it have
like
a
Bob
kind of
Ross.
Bob Ross vibe?
It does.
You should get an easel.
I might have to.
This is fantastic.
Hazel, when she was a newborn baby, that was what she watched on TV. Like she loved watching Bob Ross. I don't know if it was just his voice was soothing to her, but she liked it.
Totally soothing.
That is a classic thing to watch. I love watching it every now and then too.
Well, I'm sort of a friendly giant man myself, but that dates me. So on the CBC, don't you know? All right. Officer, I don't know that Mr. Holland's going to come
Happy little
back.
accidents.
If he does, I'll tell him we are adjourning his case.
And he's gone. We're adjourning his case. All right. There we go. We got a little bit of a palate cleanser at the end of the day to sort of ease us into the evening. Just thinking more like Mystery Science Theater. I love these little courts you can pop into. The strangest things happen there, and you never know. Like nobody knows this was going to happen, and that was live. That was just that's just what happens in Royal Oaks as people get dragged into court over 75 cents of a parking ticket. Even if they collected the maximum fine, the maximum fine of like $20, which is the maximum fine if you don't pay your fee. It doesn't cover the cost of having the judge, the officer, and the court staff present. They are losing money on every ticket they collect. I kid you not. But they still do it because, rules. Anyway, all right. With that, we're going to call it an evening. Tomorrow, we've obviously got the day off in court, so we'll have to explain that to a couple of people that missed the announcement. But we do have the day off in this trial. We'll resume on Thursday. Tomorrow, we will have the podcast, and that's going to be great. But in the meantime, in between time, we'll probably do a little court hopping. If there's some documents out there that just broke that you want me to read, also nominate them to me by sending them to me on the burner phone or in mod chat if you have any. We have the Candy Corn Song Battle. Yes, I need to tweak mine. I've got like 8 renditions, literally 8 renditions that I made. All of them are good, just like Candy Corn. But we'll do the song battle on podcasts as well. So, podcast on Wednesday. Yes, just this week. Just this week. We've got a conflict on Thursday. So I stuck with my first one. It's probably good. All right, tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. Please stay safe. Do we go live again tomorrow morning, bright and early, for a little bit of court hopping on our day off, midweek hump day. You'll hear the yell first thing in the morning. If you haven't heard the yell, lucky you. Be here early if you want to hear it. And then podcast in the evening and a lot of fun in between. You guys have an absolutely wonderful evening. We will see you in the morning. Have a good one. Bye. And thank you, by the way. Thanks to all the people who gifted memberships. That was super generous. You guys are amazing.
There's nothing in the order that restrains you from talking.
Mods, you're awesome. See ya.
I don't like podiums, Your Honor.